Chapter 270. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Many people in the Medicine Valley didn't approve of him. They were all disciples of the Medicine Valley, so showing off in front of their own people wasn't something to be proud of. Night Sorrow's 6-kill performance at Hua Yunping's venerable celebration ceremony had already gained the approval of most people. This time, in the confrontation with the Tai family of Nanyang City, Night Sorrow had even killed a Stage 4 opponent. Such a battle record was hard to accept even if others didn't want to. After greeting Elder Su, Night Sorrow began to climb the cliff. Night Sorrow climbed to a height of 5,400 meters and began to cultivate. It was still difficult for him to climb 5,500 meters. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate now, not to break the record, so he didn't want to waste time. When Night Sorrow was cultivating, the others consciously distanced themselves from him. This was because they didn't know when Night Sorrow would make a move. In addition, this was also a form of respect for Night Sorrow. One must know that those who could reach Night Sorrow's area were all Stage 4 spirit-severing stage disciples of the Medicine Valley. It wasn't easy to gain their approval. While Night Sorrow was cultivating hard, Jianghu, the Great Elder, Jianghu, and the others were talking with Zhentian and Shuru in the main hall of the Medicine Valley. Although they were still fighting a while ago, Jianghu and the others were still polite to Zhentian and Shuru. Even if they were fighting, they still had to receive 1 or 2 people from the other side. This was their magnanimity. After that, Zhentian explained his intentions and expressed his sincerity. I personally agree with this matter, but we also need the opinions of the other elders. How about this? Clan head, if you have any opinions you can voice them out. Our Medicine Valley will hold a meeting of elders to make a decision, Jianghu said. Zhentian and Shuru glanced at each other. Then Zhentian told them about the clan's idea. The clan was willing to join the Medicine Valley and live or die with the Medicine Valley. If the clan was attacked by the Golden Flame sect after leaving the Medicine Valley would have to fight against the enemy together. After that, Jianghu and the Great Elder held a meeting of the elders. There were also elite disciples who brought Zhentian and Shuero to the side hall for tea. Soon, most of the elders of the Medicine Valley arrived and began to study the problem of the family. After that, everyone felt that this was a good thing. After all, it was too difficult for the Medicine Valley to deal with the Golden Flame sect alone. If they could form an alliance with the clan, the strength of the Medicine Valley would increase by a lot. The Golden Flame sect would have 1 less helper. With this, the Medicine Valley wouldn't have such a hard time in the future. Love Go Little Seiku, as long as they are sincere in forming an alliance with us, there won't be a problem. What I'm worried about is that they won't dig a hole for us. When the time comes, they will ruthlessly dig a hole for us, Lu Qinyun said. This shouldn't be a problem. The clan won't do that. It won't do them any good. We have the Venerable to deter them, so they won't dare to be fickle. In addition, we will also know if they make any unusual moves, Jianghu said. After that, Jianghu went to invite Zhentian and Shuero back to the Pill Cauldron main hall. Jianghu told them the opinion of the Medicine Valley. After hearing that the Medicine Valley was willing to accept the clan, Zhentian and Shuero immediately swore on their inner demons that they wouldn't betray the alliance. The successful alliance made Zhentian and Shuero very happy. Although this move was a gamble, at least they wouldn't become cannon fodder. After all, the Medicine Valley and the Golden Flame sect had different styles of doing things. In addition, the 2 sides also exchanged administrative areas. In this way, the Medicine Valley would be able to connect the area left by Nanyang City with their own territory. When they connected with the clan's territory, the 2 sides would form a line of defense. Starter? For this line of defense almost divided the territory of the Golden Flame sect into 2 halves. The Medicine Valley, the Tai clan of Nanyang City, and the clan of Eightley Fort, these 3 first-class forces occupied almost half of the territory of the Golden Flame sect. Now that the territories of these 3 forces were connected, the area of the Golden Flame sect was very large. I wonder how the Fire Tiger sect will react next, Zhentian said. Our actions can't be hidden. Before the Fire Tiger sect has any reaction, the Golden Flame sect will make their move. Whether they want to rope them in or threaten them, the Golden Flame sect won't give the Fire Tiger sect a chance to betray us, Jianghu said. That should be the case. No matter what, as long as the Golden Flame sect touches our territory, we will fight back. When the time comes, Valley Master Lu just needs to send the battle plan to the clan, Zhentian said. Okay. Rest assured, clan master. The Medicine Valley will either not accept them or not. As long as the Golden Flame sect touches the clan's territory, the Medicine Valley will fight back, Jianghu reassured the O clan. Valley Master, the O clan is now at the heart of the struggle. The older generation of the O clan is not afraid of war or death, but the younger generation is not. They are the seed of the fire. The Medicine Valley is safe. Can you let the younger generation of the O clan hide here? This way we won't have to worry about the consequences when we fight. O Jintian looked at Jianghu and asked, Great Elder, what do you think? Jianghu looked at the Great Elder. I have no objections. When you come, let's communicate with each other. There were some conflicts during the Venerable One's celebration last time. The younger generation should not take things too hard, the Great Elder said. Then it's settled. In a few days, Elder Shuru will bring the younger generation over. Valley Master and the elders will arrange it. This way we can rest assured and the Medicine Valley can rest assured, O Jintian said. O Clan Master, you think too much. Since we are allies, the Medicine Valley will definitely trust the O Clan. After hearing O Jintian's words, Jianghu said. This was because O Jintian's words had two meanings. Sending the younger generation of the O Clan to rest assured was because they were not afraid that the Venerable One of the Golden Flame sect would go to the O Clan's headquarters and kill all of the O Clan's disciples. Letting the Medicine Valley rest assured meant that the younger generation of the O Clan would be used as hostages. Okay, then we will take our leave. O Jintian and O Shuru left. This meeting was a happy ending for both sides. The Medicine Valley and the O Clan both expressed their sincerity. Nominally they were allies, but the O Clan considered themselves as a subordinate force. Since then, the Golden Flame sect's territory had become a situation where the two forces were fighting for hegemony. Night Sorrow stayed on Danding Cliff and worked hard to cultivate, rapidly increasing his cultivation. He wanted to increase his cultivation as much as possible before the alternate space opened because everything in the alternate space was unknown. Towards the unknown, Sikong Chuyu told him to have a reverent heart. Cultivating on Pill Tripod Cliff allowed one's cultivation to improve quickly and steadily. Yishang cultivated diligently and tirelessly. This was the treatment that the disciples of the Medicine Valley dreamed of. However, for countless years, no one had been able to do it. After all, it was too difficult to break the record. After cultivating for half a month, Night Sorrow was driven down from Danding Cliff by Elder Su. Elder Su was worried that Night Sorrow would develop a psychological resistance to cultivation after cultivating for a long time. Although he felt that there was no problem, Night Sorrow did not refuse Elder Su's good intentions. After drinking a jar of wine with Elder Su, Night Sorrow left. Night Sorrow planned to pay a visit to Jianghu. After not seeing him for half a month, he wanted to pay his respects. When he arrived in front of Danding Main Hall, Night Sorrow saw the people of the O Clan and immediately took out the reincarnation spear from his back. Chapter 271. Genius Remembers Love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Seeing Night Sorrow take out his reincarnation spear, the O Clan's disciples took a few steps back. One of them, an 18 or 19-year-old youth, stood out and said, We are O Clan's disciples. We came here with our clan's elders. We have no ill intentions. At this moment, the Great Elder, Fourth Elder, Lu Qinyun, and O Shuru walked out of the Pill Cauldron main hall while chatting and laughing. Look, fortunately we came out in time. Otherwise a fight would have broken out. 13 Quickly put away your weapon. The Great Elder waved his hand at Night Sorrow. Medicine Valley's Taishan Peak's disciple, Night Sorrow. Last time, during the Honored Expert celebration, he displayed his invincible might and killed 6 people. I have seen him before. O Shuru said. 13 Let me introduce you. This is O Clan's Elder O Shuru. Also, let me tell you that the sect and the O Clan are now allies. In the future we will be friends, not enemies. The Great Elder introduced to Night Sorrow. Junior Night Sorrow greets Elder O. Please don't take what happened during the celebration to heart. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at O Shuru. Last time he killed a member of the O Clan. I won't. At that time our standpoints were different. These are the younger generation of our O Clan. If they have done anything inappropriate, please don't mind. O Shuru looked at Night Sorrow and nodded her head in appreciation. Elder O can rest assured on this point. Great Elder, where is my master? Night Sorrow nodded at O Shuru and asked the Great Elder. Valley Master also needs to cultivate. Therefore this old man is busy with this and that. The Great Elder said with a smile. Then this disciple will take his leave first. Night Sorrow bowed to the Great Elder and Fourth Elder. He nodded at O Shuru, released Tianyu and left in a flash. This little guy is amazing. O Shuru sighed. Night Sorrow is not bad. Elder Lu, take Elder O to Thousand Water Peak. Great Elder said to Lu Qinyun. The O family had arranged for their core seedlings to stay in the Medicine Valley. The Medicine Valley had also specially allocated Chenshui Peak, which was beside Danding Peak, for them to stay in. Lu Qinyun and O Shuero were in charge of communication between the two parties. After settling down the O family's disciples, Lu Qinyun left. He wanted to inform the disciples of the Medicine Valley about this matter. They shouldn't get into a conflict because they didn't know each other. Today's Night Sorrow drawing his gun was a good example. That youngster even used a weapon against us. Doesn't he just have a slightly better master? A female disciple of the O clan said with some dissatisfaction. Love Gon Little say W Chu, be careful with your words, cousin Zijuan. He is very powerful. Not only does he have a good master, but he also killed 6 people in a row on the stage during the Medicine Valley's prestige conference. He relied on his true abilities, said the young man who had begun to communicate with Night Sorrow. Cousin Zijing, is he really that powerful? O Zijuan asked. He's invincible among his peers. Don't you think he's powerful? Although you don't like Obin, you know his strength. At that time they were at the same level, but Obin was killed in an instant. The disciples of Nanyang City's Tai family, Flaming Tiger sect and Golden Flame sect's genius Zhan Xie were all killed by him on the stage. Do you think it was luck or coincidence? That was a manifestation of strength and courage. O Shuero glared at O Zijuan. Elder is right. This disciple has never admired anyone, but he is one. Although he was an opponent at that time, this disciple's blood was boiling. He raised his spear and shouted to the heavens that he would kill whoever came. How domineering was that? O Zijing said. Zijing, your vision is indeed not bad. Let's not talk about strength for now. That aura is not something an ordinary person can possess. The most outstanding thing about the disciples of the Medicine Valley is their aura and willpower. The disciples of the Medicine Valley are not afraid of strong enemies. As long as they are provoked, they will fight to the end. The Taishin Peak's disciple Mo Qin pursued his enemy for more than 10 years in order to avenge his junior brother. This is his aura. The disciples of the Medicine Valley have the courage to fight to the end. This is also their aura. This is something that we, the disciples of the O clan, must learn from, O Shuero said to the disciples of the O clan. The disciples of the O clan bowed and listened to O Shuero's words. The O clan used to be a first-rate force among the subordinate forces of the Golden Flame sect. It had been around for a long time. The O clan system was very strict. The requirements for the disciples of the O clan were also very strict. Therefore, the disciples of the O clan were not good for nothings. They immediately understood. In the future, the O clan and the Medicine Valley will be allies in the same camp. To put it bluntly, without a venerable, our O clan is actually a subordinate force. It's just that the Medicine Valley respects us. Therefore, interacting more with the disciples of the Medicine Valley and becoming friends will only bring us benefits. O Shuero said to the disciples of the O clan. Elder, then is it appropriate for us to visit Night Sorrow? O Zijing asked. After all, O Bin died in the hands of Night Sorrow. Let's not talk about the past. Looking at the future, I won't object to you guys interacting with Night Sorrow, O Shuero said. Night Sorrow left Danding Peak and rushed towards Danding City. He hadn't seen Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei for half a month. He missed them. Tianyu's speed was much faster than before. In less than 4 hours, Night Sorrow returned to the Dragon Spring Courtyard. 13. Why didn't you break through this time? Seeing that Night Sorrow's cultivation was already at the peak of level 5, Aoi asked. This wasn't Night Sorrow's character. I also wanted to, but I was chased away by Elder Su. He didn't want me to stay up there for too long, Night Sorrow said helplessly. Just accept his good intentions. It's the same if you break through after coming back. The Dragon Spring Courtyard can calm your mind and concentrate. It's actually more suitable for breaking through. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu walked out of the hall. I know, that's why I came back, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Hurry up and break through. The matter of the alternate space is a little troublesome, Yang Lei said. What's up with the latest X chapter? Night Sorrow asked. The matter of the alternate space is now a hot topic. Space channels have appeared in the Thunder Rumbling sect and the Holy Light religion. According to the news, the space channel they found is the same as the one we found in the Medicine Valley area. It's full of baleful aura, Yang Lei said. Could it be that there are several more channels in the same space? Night Sorrow frowned. Such a situation was very unfavorable. In other words, after entering the alternate space, there would be many opponents. If that's the case, then it's not a space. It's likely to be a small world, a world that hasn't been explored by humans. It's full of opportunities and also full of crises, Aoi said. Opportunities are medicinal herbs and refining materials. In fact, I don't care much about it. I just want to go in and broaden my horizons, Night Sorrow said with a smile. You're just talking about small opportunities. There are many big opportunities. In such a world, it's most likely that the origin stone will appear. It's the crystallization of the origin energy between heaven and earth, which is of great help to cultivators, Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 272. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Origin stones don't just contain energy, they also contain attributes, laws, and so on. The most precious origin stones are the cores of spaces or worlds. They are also known as space origin. However, it's difficult to obtain them. This is a book about small spaces and small worlds. Take a look. Aoi took out a book and tossed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took the book and began to read it. As he read, Night Sorrow gained a better understanding of the unknown space. Space and worlds were created because of the heart of origins, also known as space origins. If the space was large enough, it would be called the heart of the world. The attributes of space and world were also determined by his heart of origin. For example, if it was a space filled with darkness and evil, then its heart of origin could be the heart of darkness. In a world filled with fire and fire-attributed energy, its world core was most likely a fire-attributed world core. It was impossible to obtain such origin stones or world cores. The origin stones of space and worlds were hidden in the depths of a world, but origin stones of other attributes could appear. However, they were incredibly rare, and it was recorded in ancient records that those without great fate would not be able to obtain them. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. The most important function of the origin stone was that it was a medium for venerables to enter the saint realm. After entering the exalt realm, one had to attain the unity of the world and be able to control a portion of the energy of the world. If one wanted to enter the saint realm, then one had to grasp the energy of the laws. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for cultivators to enter the venerable realm and reach the state of being one with the world. Not even one out of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of cultivators could do it. There was no need to mention how difficult it was to enter the saint realm. The energy of the laws was a form of manifestation of the ability of the heaven Tao. Yes, it's good to understand it. Night Sorrow took out his Fey Illustrated Handbook and searched for the Origin Stone's introduction and sketch. The Fey Illustrated Handbook only introduced the Origin Stone's characteristics and didn't have any pictures. It only stated that the Origin Stone contained a very strong origin attribute, and anyone who saw it would naturally recognize it. After returning Gu Dian to Aoi and putting away the Fey Encyclopedia, Night Sorrow pondered for a moment and felt that all of this was somewhat illusory. After entering this special space, he had to quickly raise his cultivation level to ensure his safety. Night Sorrow knew that his current core condensation realm cultivation base was not enough. After all, there were other forces disciples below the 4th stage. If a peak core condensation realm cultivator went in, it was possible for them to break through. Currently, Night Sorrow could kill early stage 4th order cultivators, but that was only for ordinary cultivators. The genius disciples of Holy Light Temple and Thunder Rumbling School were already powerful, so it was not easy to kill them. What are you thinking about? Yang Lei waved her hand in front of Night Sorrow's eyes. First 5 shots, I'm going to break through. Night Sorrow stood up and nodded to Yang Lei, Aoi, and Sikong Chuyu before returning to his room. If everything goes well, 13 might be able to enter the peak of the 7th level of the core formation realm when the sect opens the spatial passage. Yang Lei calculated for a moment and said, "That's right," Yang Lei said after calculating for a while. "That's right." Aoi nodded. There were still nearly 2 months left. After Night Sorrow broke through this time, he would reach the 6th level of core formation. If he went back to Danding Peak to train, it wouldn't be too difficult for him to achieve a level in 2 months. After entering the 7th level of the core condensation realm, eating the Yuan congealing pill would give one the strength of a peak 7th level core condensation realm cultivator. After spending more than half a day, Night Sorrow managed to condense his 6th True Chi Halo, raising his strength to the 6th level of core condensation. Feeling the True Chi in his Dantian, Night Sorrow continued to break through. He wanted to break through the 2nd level of the Myriad Tao Treasured Tome, which was to strengthen the bone marrow of his legs. Thinking of the pain, Night Sorrow shivered. Night Sorrow had already experienced the pain of strengthening his bone marrow, and it was simply unbearable. However, no matter how painful it was, Night Sorrow could not give up on cultivating the myriad Tao treasured tome. While stabilizing the true Qi in his Dantian, Night Sorrow began to break through the myriad Tao treasured tome. The energy entered the bone marrow through his legs, and waves of pain invaded Night Sorrow's mind. Sweat flowed down his forehead, and his body uncontrollably trembled. In order to resist the pain, Night Sorrow clenched his hands, clenched his teeth, and continued to control the energy to enter the bone marrow of his legs. In the middle of the night, Night Sorrow successfully strengthened the bone marrow of his legs. When he stood up, Night Sorrow found that his body was soaked in sweat. Night Sorrow went to the celestial water lake to take a bath. After changing his clothes, he began to practice the killing fist and chasing wind spear technique. The human body was a tree and the legs were poles. With the poles, it was much easier to exert force. After cultivating for 2 hours, Night Sorrow went back to stabilize his cultivation. After dawn, Night Sorrow went to the dining room. Hai Luo and Luo Wei had already prepared the dishes. Just as Night Sorrow sat down, Aoi Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu came in. Not bad. Core condensation stage is now level 6. You can still advance before the space channel opens. If you advance one more level, you can directly take the Yuan congealing pill. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said, I have a question that I don't understand. Holy Light Religion and Thunder Rumbling School have found the space channel, but the energy in their newly discovered channel is unstable, so they can't enter it. Why didn't our Medicine Valley enter it in advance? Night Sorrow asked. After the news came from there, Great Elder and Master went to the space channel to check it out. The same thing happened. The energy in the space channel is unstable again, so we can't enter it. We have to wait for the violent energy to stabilize before we can enter. Therefore there is no opportunity. Yang Lei said. That's good, it also gives me more time. Night Sorrow said with a smile. I estimate that there are not only these few space channels but also other entrances. Therefore the competition this time will be very fierce. Sikong Chuyu said with some worry. The competition is nothing. After all, everyone is under the fourth order. Even if there is a gap, the gap won't be too big. The situation inside the space is the hidden danger. Night Sorrow said his own opinion. After chatting with everyone for a while, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. In fact, he planned to go to Danding Cliff, but he didn't want to leave so soon. Therefore he met with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow steadily cultivated, but the outside world was bustling with noise and excitement. The forces without a space channel in their territory were very annoyed. This was equivalent to losing an opportunity. Therefore, the forces with a space channel in their territory were preparing. After stabilizing his cultivation for 2 days, Night Sorrow said goodbye to the several women. He wanted to go to Danding Cliff to continue to improve his cultivation. He wanted to reach core condensation stage level 7 as soon as possible. Night Sorrow was 100 miles away from the Dragon Spring courtyard when he was stopped by Yin Shui and a masked woman. Both of them were standing in the air. Seeing this situation, Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to land. Chapter 273. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Jumping down from Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow cupped his hands toward Yin Shui and the masked woman. I am Lan Yuxuan, the supervisor of Tianji Tower's headquarters. I originally came to see the situation in Eastern Profound Domain, but I happened to hear about the space channel, so I wanted to communicate with you. Lan Yuxuan, the masked woman, said. Let's find a place to sit down and talk. Yin Shui took Lan Yuxuan and Night Sorrow to the edge of an ancient forest. She waved her hand and cut down a few ancient trees, using the tree stumps as stools. Night Sorrow found a place to sit down. I found some ancient books and found that this space is likely to be an ancient void space. It appeared once before, 10,000 years ago. At that time, the space channel that appeared was full of evil aura, and no one could go in. This time, the evil aura is not very strong, so anyone below the fourth order can enter. Lan Yuxuan said. Is there anything I can do? If I can do it, then I will do my best. If not, then I am sorry. Night Sorrow said. Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui looked at each other. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to be so direct, going straight to the point. Tianji Tower needs the Destiny Stone. That is, the Origin Stone. Lan Yuxuan said. You know the Origin Stone, so you know its value. Isn't this request unreasonable? Night Sorrow looked at Yin Shui and Lan Yuxuan and said. It is indeed a bit unreasonable, so let's talk. Lan Yuxuan narrowed her eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. She didn't expect that a third-order Night Sorrow could talk with her and Yin Shui without any pressure. First of all, it's hard to say whether there is the origin stone or not. Even if there is, what are my chances of getting it? Holy Light Temple and Thunder Rumbling Sect have a large number of third-order disciples. What if a peak third-order disciple breaks through? Their chances of getting the treasure are much higher than mine. Night Sorrow said. You are too modest. Tianji Tower has a very detailed record of your growth. Some time ago you were only at the 5th level of core condensation stage, but you killed more than one spirit severing stage cultivator. Now that you are at the 6th level of core condensation stage, are you still afraid of a peak third-order opponent? Lan Yuxuan said, at the same time took out a piece of paper, which recorded Night Sorrow's situation. Night Sorrow didn't speak, because Tianji Tower's information was too. The Destiny Stone is very precious. Tianji Tower is very clear about this, so they won't take advantage of you. If you get the water attribute Destiny Stone, then Tianji Tower will exchange it with something of the same value. If you don't want to exchange, then you can lend it to Tianji Tower for a period of time for observation. After the observation, Tianji Tower will return it to you without any damage and give you some compensation. Lan Yuxuan said. If it's just for observation without any damage, then I have no objection, but let's talk about it after I get the origin stone. Night Sorrow said. He understood that Tianji Tower was indeed sincere. Okay, this time it's very dangerous. We don't care about the opponent, you can solve it yourself. However, the Void Fiend space is very scary. It's very difficult to replenish the energy consumed by the cultivator. It takes a long time to recover by taking medicinal pills. This is the Spirit Spring liquid provided by Tianji Tower. No matter how much energy you consume, you can fully recover within 3 drops. Lan Yuxuan handed over a jade bottle. Night Sorrow didn't stand on ceremony and directly took it in his hand and put it away. Be careful. Whether you get something or not, and whether you're willing to exchange with Tianji Tower, we don't want anything to happen to you. You're Tianji Tower's treasure. Lan Yuxuan looked at Night Sorrow and said. Thank you for your concern, Lord. Night Sorrow will be careful. Night Sorrow cupped his fists to Yin Shui and Lan Yuxuan. Okay, then you go do your thing. I'll be staying in Danding City for a while. Lan Yuxuan nodded to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cupped his fists to Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui, then flashed onto Tianyu's back and left. Lord Supervisor, he deserves the 2 stars of the Heavenly Fate assessment, right? Deputy Pavilion Master Lei has the idea of giving him 3 stars, but he's worried that the headquarters will think we're unfair, Yin Shui said. Lan Yuxuan came to the Eastern Shen domain this time to verify whether Night Sorrow passed the 2 stars of the Heavenly Fate assessment. It's not too much to give him 3 stars. You know, he's only been cultivating for a year and a half. Not to mention his amazing speed, the most important thing is his ability to fight above his level. He's no longer just fighting above his level. He's at the 5th level of the core formation stage, and he's able to kill the divinity stage. With this, he's qualified to be given 3 stars. As for whether he can pass the headquarters review, that's another matter, Lan Yuxuan said. Our Eastern Shen domain plans to give him 3 stars when he enters the divinity stage, Yin Shui said. If he can come back from the alternate space safe and sound, we can give him 3 stars. I'm also willing to be a referrer, Lan Yuxuan said. Night Sorrow didn't care about the appearance of Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui. He went straight back to Danding Cliff and began to cultivate. This time, Elder Su also said something to make Night Sorrow relax. After knowing about the opening of the alternate space, he understood that Night Sorrow needed to improve his cultivation quickly. Night Sorrow rushed to the 5,500-meter platform and began to cultivate directly. He could still break through a little more, but he didn't want to waste his energy. Sitting cross-legged, Night Sorrow used the pressure from Danding Cliff to stabilize his cultivation. A solid cultivation was the foundation. For example, if he used all his genuine chi to make a move, he might be able to make 10 moves if he had a solid foundation, but if he had a weak foundation he might not be able to make 7 moves. After stabilizing his cultivation for 2 days, Night Sorrow relaxed his body and mind and began to absorb energy with all his strength. On Wuwei Peak, Yi Shui and a young man were drinking tea together. Yu, don't you plan to take first place on the pill list? Yi Shui asked his youngest cousin in the family. Lin Tianjue? I'll take some time to take him down. However, I heard from my disciples that the strongest person on the pill list isn't Lin Tianjue. It's someone called Night Sorrow. I haven't seen him fight, but I heard from my disciples about his experience. I feel that he's worthy of his reputation. You said. Indeed, but he's not ranked on the pill list. He doesn't need merit points or anything, but you do. Yishui looked at his stubborn cousin and said. So I plan to fight with him first, then deal with Lin Tianjue. Yu spoke his thoughts. You really don't need to fight with Night Sorrow. Just take down Lin Tianjue. Yishui said. Between Yu and Lin Tianjue, Yishui was very confident that his cousin could win. However, compared to Yu and Night Sorrow, Yishui didn't have the confidence. It wasn't that Yu wasn't outstanding enough, but that Night Sorrow was too heaven-defying. He was far more dangerous than Lin Tianjue, who was at the peak of the core condensation realm. Cousin, are you worried that I'll lose? Winning or losing isn't important. Even if I lose, I have to know where I lost. Only then can I improve. How can someone who doesn't dare to lose be qualified to talk about winning? I've asked around. Night Sorrow is cultivating at Danding Cliff. I plan to challenge him and Lin Tianjue at the beginning of next month, which is before the space passage opens. Yu stated his decision. Yishui didn't say anything about Yu's decision, because this was the insistence of cultivators. Night Sorrow cultivated for 7 or 8 days and reached the mid-stage of the core condensation realm. He felt that his cultivation speed was a little slow, so Night Sorrow surpassed him once again. Night Sorrow's climb caused a sensation once again, because Night Sorrow's height was the Medicine Valley's record. Q version 1 and version 2. Chapter 274. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. At this time, Yu understood why his cousin suggested that he not fight with Night Sorrow. The gap was indeed big. He also often climbed the cliff to cultivate. 5,200 meters was his limit. It was far from the record of 5,400 meters. At this time, Night Sorrow was already moving towards 5,600 meters. This was the gap. After climbing 580 meters, Night Sorrow's true chi and the energy in his body were exhausted. Read novels for free. Forever. Free, relying on the strength of his body, Night Sorrow once again rushed 10 meters. At this time, sweat flowed down his cheeks smoothly. Feeling that he had indeed reached his limit, Night Sorrow's black jade energy burst out from his hands. He grabbed the stairs with both hands and quickly rushed towards the 5,600-meter platform. After reaching the 5,600-meter platform, Night Sorrow half squatted on the stairs, panting and recovering his strength. After recovering his strength, Night Sorrow continued to meditate. Next, Night Sorrow disappointed the others because he stopped moving on the 5,600-meter platform and began to improve his cultivation. I'm not his opponent. Yu murmured in a low voice. After thinking for a while, Yu came to a conclusion. He was very confident in himself. He felt that even if he was not as good as Night Sorrow, he would not be defeated easily. But now he did not think so because the gap between them was really big. After seeing Night Sorrow's performance, Yu felt that it was very difficult for anyone to defeat Night Sorrow in the core condensation realm. At the very least he could not do it. Night Sorrow is an exception. The Medicine Valley has thousands of years of inheritance and there is only one like him. He is the favorite of this era and the nightmare of other geniuses. It should be a good thing to have such a fellow disciple. He is not only an opponent but also our pride. Elder Su said. Disciple understands. I'll go cultivate now. Yu bowed to Elder Su and went to climb the cliff. Staying at 5,600 meters, Night Sorrow relaxed his body and mind. He absorbed the energy passed down from Danding Cliff and refined it into his own. The disciples on Danding Cliff came and went. Only Night Sorrow remained. When he was thirsty he drank some wine. When he was hungry he took a fasting pill. In the blink of an eye nearly 20 days passed. There was still half a month before the spatial channel opened. Night Sorrow's cultivation base had reached the peak of the 6th rank, the peak of the 3rd level of the bone-forging realm. He had already strengthened the bones in his hands and feet. After strengthening the bone marrow in his hands and feet, Night Sorrow would be able to enter the 4th level of the bone-forging realm. Night Sorrow, who planned to make a breakthrough at Danding Cliff and stabilize his cultivation there, got up and drank a jar of wine. Looking at the sky, he saw that the platform had descended from 5,600 meters to 5,000 meters. The night at Danding Cliff was exceptionally quiet. The chirping of birds and insects could not be heard. There was only the sound of energy washing over the cliff. After sorting out his emotions, Night Sorrow began to make a breakthrough. The first thing he did was to make a breakthrough in his chi. After more than a month of cultivation at Danding Cliff, Night Sorrow's chi in his dantian was already saturated. Moreover, it was very condensed. This was the strength of Danding Cliff. Condensing the 7th Qi halo was not difficult for Night Sorrow. The difficulty of cultivating Qi was in the accumulation of Qi and the advancement of a realm. Advancing was not difficult. As long as you accumulated enough Qi, advancing would not be a problem. After 2 hours, Night Sorrow successfully condensed the 7th Qi halo and advanced to the 7th level of the core formation realm. There was still enough time. Night Sorrow began to strengthen the bone marrow in his hands and feet. As he strengthened his bones, Night Sorrow discovered a problem. The energy in his body could not pass through his hands that had been strengthened by the profound jade spiritual energy and his body's energy. Night Sorrow was a little anxious. If he couldn't strengthen the bone marrow in his hands, then he wouldn't be able to continue cultivating the myriad Dao Tome. He would be stuck. Unwilling to fail, Night Sorrow tried to use his energy to break through the bone marrow again. After several attempts, Night Sorrow's mind moved slightly. He controlled his body's energy and the profound jade spiritual energy to break through the bone marrow in his hands. Along with the intense pain, Night Sorrow's heart was filled with joy. This method was effective. Then he could continue to break through. Enduring the freezing pain, Night Sorrow continued to strengthen the bone marrow in his hands. At the same time, he decided that it would be better to have a short period of pain than a long period of pain. The energy in his body also began to strengthen the bone marrow in his feet. Night Sorrow's body trembled like a sieve. He used all his energy to resist the invasion of the pain. Fortunately, it didn't take long. Before dawn, Night Sorrow completed his breakthrough to the 3rd stage of the bone forging realm and entered the 4th stage. After the successful breakthrough, Night Sorrow didn't move. He has been stabilizing his cultivation. After daybreak, Night Sorrow started climbing again. He returned to the 5,600-meter position. After his true energy and the myriad Dao's treasured tome had leveled up, it was much easier for Night Sorrow to reach the 5,600-meter mark. At 5,600 meters, using the energy passed down from Danding Cliff to stabilize his cultivation, Night Sorrow felt much better than before. When his cultivation was completely stabilized, Night Sorrow took out the Yuan congealing pill and swallowed it and began to cultivate. Under the pressure of Danding Cliff's energy, taking the Yuan congealing pill has minimal drawbacks. After more than 2 days, Night Sorrow completely absorbed and refined the Yuan congealing pill, making his cultivation reach the peak of 7th level core condensation. After stabilizing his cultivation for 2 days, when Night Sorrow was about to break through again, he was stopped by Elder Su. Night Sorrow needs to improve his strength, but after a month of continuous high-intensity cultivation, Elder Su felt that he can't continue and needs to stop it. He could not go against the wishes of the sect elders. Yi Shang reluctantly left Danding Cliff. After pondering for a moment, Yi Shang went to the Merit Hall. Night Sorrow said to the Merit Hall elder that he wants to challenge the pill list. Okay, this sect wants to make a notice, who do you want to challenge? But each time you can't exceed level 10. You need a few days to prepare, after all, there are some people who need to be notified. The Merit Hall elder said to Night Sorrow. This disciple intends to challenge the pill list's first rank Lin Tianjue. As for who needs to be challenged from behind, Elder Su can arrange it. Night Sorrow directly expressed his intention. The last time Lin Tianjue despised him at Danding Cliff, Night Sorrow still remembered it in his heart. At that time he didn't attack because his cultivation wasn't enough. Okay, recently EU will also challenge the pill list. You can wait until one day, there are still 5 days left, I will arrange it quickly, you can still be placed together. The elder said. Night Sorrow nodded and left. He went to Danding Palace to meet Yu Yangyu. Don't be too anxious, you are not far from the breakthrough, cultivation needs to be slow. Seeing Night Sorrow's progress, Yu Yangyu was very satisfied. Night Sorrow's cultivation speed was very fast and very solid. This disciple understands, disciple will take his leave. After a few words, Night Sorrow bowed to Yu Yangyu. When he left the hall, Night Sorrow saw the Great Elder. After greeting the Great Elder, Night Sorrow left. Chapter 275. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? Shoan.net provides you with wonderful novels to read. He didn't say anything about challenging the alchemy rankings? Yu Yangyu asked in surprise. The elder of the Merit Hall informed me that Night Sorrow will be challenging the alchemy rankings with EU in 5 days. It seems like before the space tunnel opens, the alchemy rankings will have to be rearranged. EU and 13 will both have good rankings, the Great Elder said with a smile. Yu Yangyu nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow, who was at the peak of the 7th level of the core formation realm, should have no opponents in the core formation realm. There was nothing to worry about. Night Sorrow rode Tianyu to the North Pole Peak and drank with Qin Zhen. Qin Zhen's cultivation had increased at a shocking rate. He was already at the peak of the 6th level of the Element Gathering realm. After drinking, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu back to Longquan Courtyard. Aoi and the others were happy to see Night Sorrow. 13. You've reached the peak of the 7th level of the Core Formation realm. Why didn't you break through before coming back? Aoi asked. Elder Su chased me back, but it didn't delay my breakthrough. It's the same if I break through after coming back. I just need 2 more days to stabilize. I'll be challenging the alchemy rankings in 5 days, Night Sorrow said. Very good. That bitch Lin Tianjue needs to be dealt with. Yang Lei also remembered Lin Tianjue's provocation. After eating, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu both returned to their own pavilions. Night Sorrow didn't know what to do. Who should he accompany first? Would the other one be angry? Always saw Night Sorrow's confusion. You have to think about the other side of the matter. They both want to give you and the other one a chance. How about this? I'll go accompany your 9th senior sister. You go see Sikong first. Aoi then went to Yang Lei's attic. Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment before going to Sikong Chuyu's place. Night Sorrow, go chat with 9th senior sister. Come back later, Sikong Chuyu said. Look at G% on D chapter, %. 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister went to chat. I'll accompany you for a while. Night Sorrow sat down and said. Sikong Chuyu nodded and leaned into Night Sorrow's arms. Have you been working hard recently? No, I'm filled with fighting spirit when I think about you, Night Sorrow said in a low voice. The two hugged each other and chatted casually. After chatting for a while, Sikong Chuyu took the initiative to kiss Night Sorrow. I know your intentions. Hurry up and accompany 9th senior sister. I want to cultivate. I want to break through to the 5th stage soon. Love, go little, say W Chu. Nodding, he hugged Sikong Chuyu tightly again. Night Sorrow went to Yang Lei's attic. When Night Sorrow arrived, Aoi had just left. After entering the attic, Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei with her chin on her hand, deep in thought. 9th senior sister. Night Sorrow sat beside Yang Lei and said, Why aren't you with Chuyu? Come and accompany me tomorrow. Don't make her feel uncomfortable. Yang Lei got up and pushed Night Sorrow. Chuyu asked me to accompany you. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then can you hug me to sleep tonight? Don't cultivate. Yang Lei looked up at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow nodded. He was very satisfied with having gentle and considerate women like Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu by his side. After hanging up his robe, Night Sorrow hugged Yang Lei, who had also taken off her outer robe and went to bed. The two lay together and chatted. Yang Lei liked to rest on one of Night Sorrow's arms and hug Night Sorrow. Yang Lei moved a few times from time to time, which made Night Sorrow a little uncomfortable. His body instinctively reacted. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs.com 13 Are you up to no good? Yang Lei's voice trembled. 9th senior sister, I didn't do it on purpose. Night Sorrow was a little embarrassed. 9th senior sister knows that you are like this because you like her. However, it is not appropriate for us to be together first. After all, you and Chuyu came first. You can take Chuyu's side and I can do whatever you want. Yang Lei said apologetically. Night Sorrow smiled. 9th senior sister, don't say that. Let's just chat. 13. Tomorrow 9th senior sister will help you with Chuyu's work. Take her down as soon as possible. This way the 3 of us can be together. Yang Lei said excitedly. 9th senior sister, is this appropriate? Night Sorrow did not expect Yang Lei to say this. Yang Lei hammered Night Sorrow's chest. What's inappropriate about it? After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow was a little tired and fell asleep. Early in the morning, Night Sorrow started to cultivate his spear art, fist art and movement art. He wanted his battle art to catch up with his cultivation. When he met with Aoi and Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow was a little embarrassed. However, Aoi and Sikong Chuyu did not say anything. After drinking a cup of tea together, Night Sorrow went into seclusion to try to break through to level 8. This way he would have time to stabilize his cultivation and participate in the pill ranking challenge. When Night Sorrow went into seclusion, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu went to Skywater Lake. Yang Lei said something to Sikong Chuyu who was standing beside her. Then Sikong Chuyu's face and ears turned red. 9th senior sister, what are you talking about? Don't be embarrassed. If you and Night Sorrow are really together, your family can only accept it. Jiyu's family will not force you anymore. Sikong Chuyu did not say anything. She knew that Yang Lei's words made sense, but it was too embarrassing. Chiyu, if you don't get together with 13, we can't be together. Are you planning to let me die alone? Yang Lei asked with a smile. Ninth senior sister, these things are better left to nature. How can I say it out loud? Sikong Chiyu was embarrassed by Yang Lei's words. We are good sisters, a family. That's why I'm telling you this. In the outside world, I'm a prestigious city lord. Yang Lei said with a smile. Night Sorrow's breakthrough was very smooth. In the evening he successfully broke through. However, he did not come out and was still stabilizing his cultivation. Ninth junior sister, 13's cultivation speed is too fast for us. Always said with a bitter smile. In less than 2 years, Night Sorrow's cultivation went from nothing to the 8th level of the core formation realm. Not to mention other places, this speed was unheard of in the history of the Medicine Valley for thousands of years. If this goes on, he won't be far from entering the spirit-severing stage. His cultivation is solid, unlike us who get stuck every time we break through. Which one of us hasn't been stuck for a few years? He's already in the peak of the essence-gathering realm without stabilizing his cultivation. It's no wonder his cultivation speed is fast, Yang Lei said. His body is strong and he got special privileges on Danding Cliff. Coupled with his incomparable hard work, he laid the foundation for his cultivation to improve quickly. I'm going to take a look at the alchemy ranking challenge. Are you going? Alway looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu and asked. Sixth senior sister, if you're going, how can I not go? I'll take Chiyu with me, Yang Lei said. That's right. As a senior sister, I'm already so nervous. You're a family. It's no wonder you're nervous. Alway said with a smile. In a pavilion on Tianyue Peak, Lin Tianjue's face was gloomy. Qin Zhan and the others were also there. Chapter 276. Genius 1 second. Remember love/go/little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Lin Tianjue glared at Qin Zhan. He didn't like Qin Zhan. If it weren't for him, he wouldn't have been slapped by Yang Lei. Qin Zhan and the rest knew that Night Sorrow's cultivation was lower than Lin Tianjue's, so they had confidence in Lin Tianjue. They didn't go to Danding Cliff to cultivate, so they didn't know about Night Sorrow's recent situation. However, Lin Tianjue was very clear. Don't cause trouble in the future. The Elixir List Challenge is fair and above board. Don't put too much importance on winning or losing. If the other peaks can unite against outsiders, why can't we? Luo Daoyuan came to Lin Tianjue's pavilion. Wanyong si jiodi? Exempt #DFN look little, speak. Lin Tianjue and the rest stood up. If you know you're not as good as others, then work hard to catch up. Look at the difference. Qin Zhan, you were a disciple on the Yuan roll. Night Sorrow hasn't even entered the sect yet. Now he has already challenged the elixir list. What about you? Are you still lying on the ground? Luo Daoyuan glanced at Qin Zhan. Luo Daoyuan liked to scheme, but he had to look at the big picture of the sect. If Night Sorrow could win glory for the sect, he wouldn't scheme against him. This was his principle. Lin Tianjue and the rest bowed. They didn't dare to disobey Luo Daoyuan's orders. Tianjue, don't lose your momentum in the Elixir List Challenge. We're all from the same sect. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Learn from Night Sorrow and be more domineering. Luo Daoyuan instructed his disciples. After Yi Shang stabilized his cultivation, the few of them sat on the demon beasts and flew back to Danding Peak. They returned directly to the little house in the bamboo forest. Not long after they returned, Gong Xian and the rest arrived. You're back. Why don't you go to the main hall? Gong Xian said after sitting down. Eldest senior brother, don't be angry. We just came back. Don't we have to tidy up? Always said with a smile. 13 level 8 core condensation is enough. Take back the first place. Huan looked at Night Sorrow and said. Third senior brother, I will work hard. Night Sorrow nodded at Huanan. Drinking was inevitable when the two of them were together. In the evening, Yang Lei suggested that they go to the bamboo forest peak to rest. Sikong Chiyu nodded, and Night Sorrow had no objections either. The three of them walked back to the bamboo house on Bamboo Forest Peak. Night Sorrow, this is your territory. Get someone to renovate this place tomorrow. Otherwise, our guests won't have a place to stay. Seeing that Night Sorrow had 3 bamboo houses, Yang Lei frowned. Night Sorrow was a second-generation disciple, so he should have some special treatment. The other Taishan Peak disciples' practice areas were much better than Night Sorrow's. Love Gong Little Seika. I'm not here often, so I didn't make any special arrangements. Eldest senior brother didn't think about this either, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yang Lei nodded. She knew that Gong Xian and the others definitely didn't ignore Night Sorrow. Perhaps they felt that Night Sorrow didn't come back often, so there was no need for him to do so. That night, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu cultivated in the same room, while Night Sorrow had his own room. After resting for 2 days, Night Sorrow and the 2 girls came to Dao Seeking Cliff. Sikong Chuyu put on a veil. When Night Sorrow and the other 2 arrived, many people were already there. Yang Lei pulled Sikong Chuyu to the 3rd-generation disciples of Taishan Peak. However, the 2 of them were still very obvious. The main thing was their aura, which the 3rd-generation disciples couldn't compare to. Many people came today, including the disciples of the Yuan Role. They also wanted to watch the battle between the disciples of the Alchemy Role. Jianghu was also there. Usually he didn't need to care about such things, but Night Sorrow was his last disciple. Most of the disciples of the Alchemy Role were there, and they stayed in a special area. According to the requirements, only those who had to participate in the battle had to come. However, the Battle of the Alchemy Role was also an opportunity for others to gain practical experience. The first battle was between Yu and Lin Tianjue. Yu challenged Lin Tianjue. Both of them cultivated sword techniques, and their sword techniques were very exquisite. After a few rounds of battle, Lin Tianjue was suppressed. He was at a disadvantage in terms of attack strength and speed. After fighting for 10 minutes, Yu finished testing the waters. Yu's attack changed. He waved his sword, creating afterimages, and forced Lin Tianjue to retreat step by step. Then Lin Tianjue used his battle technique, Tianjue sword technique. However, he couldn't reverse the situation. He only lasted a little longer. After Lin Tianjue was defeated, Yu took the 10th place. Yu became the first on the alchemy roll. Then another disciple came out to challenge. Night Sorrow understood that the Medicine Valley had arranged the challenges on this day. However, this disciple of the alchemy roll didn't succeed. While he increased his strength, his opponent's strength also increased. Elder Zhu, who was in charge of guarding the Dao Seeking Cliff, looked at Night Sorrow. Challenger, Night Sorrow, please enter the arena. The challenged Ming Li, please come out. Night Sorrow walked into the arena with the reincarnation spear in his hand. Uncle Master Yi, you killed a Tier 4 cultivator at the Level 5 core formation realm. I admit defeat. After Ming Li came out, he cupped his hands at Night Sorrow and bowed to Elder Zhu. Ming Li admits defeat. Night Sorrow is ranked 91st on the alchemy roll. Ming Li, you can use your merit points to continue the challenge. Elder Zhu announced the result. After the first round, Elder Zhu announced the 81st contestant to enter the arena. The 81st contestant on the alchemy roll was a female disciple of Crepe Myrtle. She had heard about Night Sorrow's battle results from her senior sisters and Uncle Masters. She knew that she was no match for him and admitted defeat directly. The next few contestants also admitted defeat directly. When it came to the 51st contestant, Chao Yang, a disciple of Danding Peak, accepted the challenge. Chao Yang had seen Night Sorrow fight at the Supremacy Celebration Conference. He didn't believe that Night Sorrow's combat strength could keep up with his cultivation level. Chao Yang cultivated the Scorching Sun Saber technique of the Medicine Valley. The Scorching Sun Saber technique was very domineering and its saber aura was swift and violent. Even if one's cultivation level was higher, one might not be able to suppress it. Cupping his hands towards Night Sorrow, Chao Yang took 2 steps forward and slashed towards Night Sorrow with his saber. Night Sorrow took a step forward and stabbed his reincarnation spear forward. The body of the spear was naturally imbued with the Vibration Sutra. Ding! Chao Yang's powerful saber was instantly repelled by the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow quickly extended his right hand and broke the knot on Chao Yang's battle robe. Chao Yang took a few steps back and looked at the broken knot on his robe in a daze. A Level 9 Core Condensation Realm Cultivator was defeated by Night Sorrow, who was a Level 8 Core Condensation Realm Cultivator, in one move. This was an exchange of pointers. If it was a battle of life and death, he would have been killed in one move. Thank you for letting me win. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the dazed Chao Yang. Martial Uncle, can you tell me what kind of spear art you used just now? Chao Yang, who had regained his senses, bowed towards Night Sorrow. Wind-chasing spear art. However, I changed it a little. I added vibration force to the original foundation. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything from Chao Yang. Chao Yang am sincerely convinced. Chao Yang bowed towards Elder Zhu and retreated. Following which, the 41st, 31st, 21st and 11th contestants on the elixir list admitted defeat. Night Sorrow, you can directly challenge the first contestant. Elder Zhu looked at Night Sorrow and said. Chapter 277. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Are you targeting me on purpose? Lin Tianjue looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of anger. Lin Tianjue originally thought that Night Sorrow's challenge had nothing to do with him. He was waiting for Night Sorrow to finish his challenge and challenge the second and third place. That way he would still have a decent ranking. But now he, who was only one rank higher than Night Sorrow, was being challenged. Then why? Night Sorrow asked Lin Tianjue. Lin Tianjue didn't know how to answer Night Sorrow's question. Then I'll answer you. Those who are friendly to me, I will be friendly to them. Those who look down on me, I will beat them back. Lin Tianjun didn't say the reason, but Yi Shang did. Lin Tianjue's face turned green and red. He couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Junior brother Knight, he already knows his mistake. We are all from the same sect. Don't make things difficult for him, Luo Daoyuan, who came with Lin Tianjue, said. Senior brother Luo, Night Sorrow values our friendship as fellow disciples. But has he? His temperament is bad. If he didn't mention that I was targeting him, this would just be a simple exchange of pointers, Night Sorrow said. Luo Daoyuan nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow's words made sense. Lin Tianjue's temperament was indeed bad. This was just a simple exchange of pointers. It was a problem to think so far ahead. At this moment, Lin Tianjue had no choice but to leave the arena. He held his sword and went to the center of the arena. Make your move. Night Sorrow said to Lin Tianjue as he shook the reincarnation spear in his right hand. Quick, let's go. Lin Tianjue's body flashed. He went around Night Sorrow's front and attacked Night Sorrow from the side. He already knew that Night Sorrow was very strong in head-on combat and didn't dare to attack head-on. Night Sorrow's right arm shook. No matter how Lin Tianjue flashed or attacked from any direction, the reincarnation spear was always in front of him. After sensing Lin Tianjue's speed, Night Sorrow executed Soaring Dragon Steps and began his attack. As Night Sorrow executed the Soaring Dragon Steps, Lin Tianjue's speed was no longer enough. In an instant he was forced to retreat by Night Sorrow. Not daring to fight Night Sorrow head-on, and not being able to keep up with his speed, Lin Tianjue's battle was very ugly. Night Sorrow decided to end the battle when he saw that Lin Tian did not want to fight him head-on. He channeled the energy of the 10,000 Tao Tome into his legs. Night Sorrow's speed suddenly increased as the myriad Tao Tome's energy poured into him. He caught up with Lin Tianjue in an instant and thrust his spear at Lin Tianjue's throat. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs. Some was too fast. Night Sorrow's speed increased by 50%. His full speed attack left behind a few afterimages. In addition, the speed of the reincarnation spear's attack was also extremely fast. Lin Tianjue had no chance to dodge at all. In a hurry, Lin Tianjue swung his sword to block. Ding! With a crisp sound, Lin Tianjue's long sword was sent flying by the reincarnation spear. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear stopped an inch away from Lin Tianjue's throat. After glancing at Lin Tianjue, Night Sorrow retreated to his original position. Lin Tianjue's face was very ugly. He, who was originally ranked first on the elixir rankings, didn't even have the power to fight back in front of Night Sorrow. The difference was too big. I Gong Xiao say WQ, following which, Elder Zhu announced the results of the competition. Night Sorrow reached the 10th place and Lin Tianjue dropped 1 place. I'm not your opponent, but I still want to know the difference between us. At this moment EU stepped out. He had to step out. Even if Night Sorrow didn't challenge him, he had to step out. It was embarrassing to be ranked first without relying on one's strength. Night Sorrow nodded at EU and took a few steps back. What could he say? Was it good to know the difference between them? Was it a chance to gain practical experience? It didn't seem appropriate. After Elder Zhu announced the start of the competition, EU attacked Night Sorrow with his sword. His sword technique was very fast. It was the famous fast sword technique of the Medicine Valley, the Thousand Feather Sword technique. EU's sword was very fast, but Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was even faster. Every time EU attacked, he would be interrupted by Night Sorrow. After fighting for half a cup of tea's time, EU retreated. Thank you for your guidance. EU knew that speed wasn't Night Sorrow's strongest point. Even so, he was still defeated in the field that he was good at. After EU and Night Sorrow separated, Elder Zhu announced the results and rankings of the competition. Since I can't get the first place, I'll try the second place, Yu muttered softly and told Elder Zhu that he wanted to challenge the second place. The second place was Gu Lin, a disciple of the Cloud Sea Peak. Although he knew that Yu was strong, he didn't admit defeat immediately. He only did so after exchanging pointers for a while. After getting the second place, Yu returned to his seat on the elixir rankings to rest. Lin Tianjue also wanted to challenge. No matter what, he couldn't fall out of the top 10. Elder Zhu, this rule isn't very reasonable. Those who were defeated still have the strength of the top 10. They have to fight their way back. Those who were defeated still have to fight their way back. It's very troublesome, Jianghu said. That's indeed the case. Valley Master, do you have any good suggestions? Elder Zhu bowed to Jianghu. I feel that in the future the loser should be demoted by one place. After all, those who can enter the top 10 are all capable, Jianghu said after pondering for a moment. Valley Master's suggestion is very good. It can be approved in the next Elders meeting. Elder Zhu nodded. He felt that Jianghu's suggestion was very reasonable. After all, the top few disciples who were defeated and fell out of the top 10 still had to challenge their opponents. Their strength was there for all to see. Next, Lin Tianjue defeated the third-place disciple and took the third place. Gu Lin, are you still going to challenge? Or are you waiting for the new rules? Elder Zhu looked at Gu Lin and asked. Then I'll wait for the new rules. Gu Lin and Yu's battle was very intense. Even if they recovered their true chi, they weren't at their peak. Night Sorrow and Yu could easily defeat the top 10 disciples of the pill leaderboard, but he couldn't. Seeing that there were no more challengers, Elder Zhu announced the end of the challenge. Night Sorrow went to Jianghu and bowed. After nodding to Night Sorrow, Jianghu stood up and said to the disciples of the pill leaderboard, "Not bad. Disciples of the pill leaderboard, gather at the Pill Cauldron Square in 2 days. Inform each other." The space tunnel was about to open. Only core condensation cultivators could enter. The pill leaderboard disciples were the only choice. After everyone left, Night Sorrow and the others returned to the Taishan Peak. Very domineering. The first place of the pill leaderboard is a piece of cake. Gong Xian looked at Night Sorrow and said. He felt proud to have a junior brother like Night Sorrow. The space tunnel is about to open. Outside, senior brother and senior sister can keep an eye on you. Once you enter the alternate space, you'll have to rely on yourself. Huanan's eyes were filled with worry. Night Sorrow nodded. I'll be careful. Gong Xian looked at Night Sorrow. Also, you have to remember one thing. Demonic beasts are your enemies, but the people around you can also be your enemies. It's fine if you don't gain anything, but once you gain something, anything can happen. Remember, don't go easy on anyone who wants to harm you. Chapter 278. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. No matter who it is, as long as they have ill intentions towards you, you don't have to be polite. If anything happens, senior brother and senior sister will support you, Yang Lei said to Night Sorrow. 13 eldest senior brother and 9th senior sister are right. However, it is still good to unite some forces in there. After all, you may encounter people from other factions. You have to be careful, always said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that his senior brother and senior sister were doing this for his own good. We have to prepare what we should and shouldn't. No one knows what's going on in that alternate dimension, Wuxia reminded Yishan. Thank you, senior brother and senior sister. I will be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. Eldest senior brother, when you have time, arrange for people to build 2 bamboo buildings for 13th Bamboo Forest Peak. We have a few guests there. We don't even have a room to rest, Yang Lei said. This is eldest senior brother's mistake. Previously, 13 was in the Dragon Spring courtyard and was not in a hurry to make arrangements. We will deal with this later, Gong Xian said with a smile. Then everyone dispersed. Alway pulled Night Sorrow to the Bamboo Forest Pavilion and asked Night Sorrow to pack some wine. Then Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu accompanied Night Sorrow to Grass Valley Town to buy some jerky and daily necessities. After buying everything, they returned to Bamboo Forest Peak. At night, Jianghu and the Great Elder came to Bamboo Forest Peak mainly to give Night Sorrow the Cauldron Spirit Liquid. This was Night Sorrow's treatment this year. Your master and I have been discussing whether to let you go or not. If you go, it will be very dangerous. If you don't go, you will miss out on the opportunity. What do you think? The Great Elder said to Night Sorrow. Disciple has decided to go. Perhaps there will be danger or even death, but this is also an opportunity. Night Sorrow made his decision. That's fine. Let's be prepared. The great elder nodded. He was conflicted in his heart. He really didn't want Night Sorrow to take the risk. After cultivating for 2 days, Night Sorrow went to the Pill Cauldron Plaza to gather, because today was the day of departure. Ninth senior sister Sikong Chuyu, wait for me here. Chuyu, I'll be waiting for the good news of your breakthrough, Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Night Sorrow gave a portion of the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Originally he intended to give all of it to them, but the two of them only asked for a portion. They knew that Night Sorrow's trip to the alternate dimension this time was very dangerous. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu both nodded. We'll send you to the Pill Tripod Square. Night Sorrow didn't refuse. The three of them sat on a flying demonic beast and arrived at the Pill Tripod Square. Yang 7 Jio 7 Zhuo Fei free. At the Pill Tripod Square, the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley were all present. Night Sorrow's senior brothers and senior sisters of the Taishin Peak were also present. I've already told you about the alternate dimension. No one knows what's going on inside. There are opportunities and dangers. You disciples on the pill ranking can choose to go or not, Yu Yangyu said to the disciples on the pill ranking in the square. Subsequently, some people withdrew. After all, many people were afraid of the unknown. You have to be careful. I have a few words to tell you. This time, a lot of elites have entered the alternate dimension. Holy Light Religion and Thunder Rumbling Sect have found the space channel. In addition, Red Cloud Sect and Nebula Sect have also found a way to enter. Golden Flame Sect, Free and Unfettered Sect, and Southern Dipper Sect's core condensation disciples have also cooperated to send their disciples in. Therefore, this time the situation is unprecedentedly complicated. Unity is necessary and internal strife is prohibited. Yu Yangyu looked at the Medicine Valley's core condensation disciples and said, "This is very important. If internal strife is found, the sect will not let it go easily." The Great Elder repeated. After the speech, Yu Yangyu, the Great Elder, and the higher-ups of the sect set off with the core condensation disciples. Because some of them didn't have a flying demonic beast, they needed the help of others. The group soon arrived at the entrance of the alternate dimension. Only cultivators and demonic beasts below rank 4 can pass through here. If they exceed this level, it will cause a collapse. None of you have a rank 4 tamed beast, so let's not talk about this problem. The other most important thing is that the space channel can only be stable for half a year according to the previous rules. That is to say, after half a year you must come out. The Great Elder reminded the Medicine Valley's disciples. Valley Master, Great Elder, this disciple has a question. What if I break through to the Severed Soul stage inside? Can I still come out? You asked. It doesn't matter. The energy of this space channel is gushing towards the outside. It will not cause any energy impact. The Great Elder said. You can go in. Yu Yangyu waved his hand and said. Following Yu Yangyu's words, the core condensation disciples rushed inside. One by one they were swallowed by a beast. Everyone went in, leaving only Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow bowed to Yu Yangyu and the Great Elder. He cupped his hands to his senior brother and senior sister. He glanced at Yang Lei and the masked Sikong Chuyu again before entering the space channel and disappearing in front of everyone's eyes. You can all go back. During this time, the fourth elder and I will guard the space channel here. The Great Elder waved his hand to the Medicine Valley's disciples who came to see them off. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu left together. Chuyu 13 is gone. Why do I feel so empty? Yang Lei was a little depressed. Me too. We can only wait for him to come out. Sikong Chuyu said. Let's wait for him together. Yang Lei pulled Sikong Chuyu's arm and nodded seriously. After entering the space channel, Night Sorrow felt the pressure. The tyrannical aura rushed towards him. He rushed forward for a while before rushing out and arriving in a new world. Looking up at the gray and tyrannical world, Night Sorrow frowned. He felt very depressed and inexplicably irritated. The aura here is different from our world. Everyone needs to calm down. The aura here will affect your state of mind. Yu said. Gu Lin and the others nodded. Now let's talk. What should we do? Yu asked. The dozens of people who came in looked at each other. The oppressive aura made everyone lose their minds. It's safer to stay together, but at the same time, we will lose the opportunity to find opportunities. Gu Lin said. Night Sorrow, what do you think? Yu was in the same generation as Night Sorrow and did not need to call him Uncle Master like the others. Gu Lin has a point. I think it depends on the person. Those who think safety is the most important should go in a group. Those who want to explore can go alone. Night Sorrow said. Everyone, let's follow this arrangement. Those who are slightly weaker will form a group. Those who feel that they can avoid the risk can act on their own. Yu said and moved forward. He expressed his attitude. He wanted to fly alone. Chapter 279. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After Night Sorrow and Yu left, Lin Qinjue thought for a moment and called 2 disciples from the Tianyue Peak to advance. He also wanted to advance alone, but he was afraid of the danger. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.ichuxs.com. After that, the other disciples on the pill ranking formed a group. Night Sorrow didn't care about this and continued to advance. The violent energy wind wreaked havoc and the trees swayed back and forth. Night Sorrow looked up at the sky and felt that the sky here was very low, and the atmosphere was very oppressive. As they advanced, Night Sorrow tried to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to see if he could cultivate. As he absorbed the energy of heaven and earth, Night Sorrow found a problem. The qi in his dantian couldn't absorb the energy in his body. This energy was too violent. However, the myriad Tao Tomes operation gave Night Sorrow a pleasant surprise. After the violent energy entered his body, it was suppressed by the energy in his flesh and bones. It stabilized and was then assimilated and absorbed. This situation made Night Sorrow very happy. After refining the energy, he used it to strengthen the dragon bones on his back. After advancing for a while, Night Sorrow let Tianyu out. The main reason was to let Tianyu get used to the environment here. After coming out, Tianyu cried out, showing that he wasn't used to it. Night Sorrow took out a beast pill and gave it to Tianyu. Not being able to absorb energy was a great test for Tianyu. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Night Sorrow brought Tianyu forward to explore. They didn't advance very quickly. Everything here was very strange. The trees had red leaves and branches, and the grass on the ground was blood red. He could clearly feel the violent energy aura, but he couldn't see or touch it. It gave Night Sorrow a strange feeling. Yishang felt as if he had returned to Bamboo Garden Village and entered the wasteland to hunt. It was familiar yet unfamiliar. Along the way, small animals often appeared. They were all at the first stage of cultivation, but they were very violent. They did not care about Night Sorrow's cultivation level and directly charged at him. In the end, they were all killed by Night Sorrow's spear. However, Night Sorrow also understood the situation here. The demonic beasts were not afraid of death. At night, Night Sorrow built a shack on an old tree. Tianyu squatted on a branch of an old tree to rest. Since he couldn't absorb the energy of heaven and earth to cultivate the Holy Cauldron scripture, Night Sorrow ate the best quality spirit congealing pills to cultivate. In the cultivation of the Myriad Tao Treasure Book, Night Sorrow not only absorbed violent energy to cultivate, but also ate the Dragon Bone Forging pill. In the Void Fiend space at night, the violent aura was even heavier. The moon in the sky seemed to be covered with a layer of blood, full of strangeness. In the middle of the night, Night Sorrow felt a dangerous aura and woke up from the state of meditation. Night Sorrow went out of the shack and stood on the branch of the old tree looking around. This investigation made Night Sorrow's scalp numb. The ground more than 3 feet away from his feet was full of dense blood-colored ants. The ants were the size of a fist. The ants had surrounded the old tree and climbed up the tree. Night Sorrow quickly put away the animal skin supporting the shack, summoned Tianyu, landed on Tianyu's back, and then rode Tianyu away. Night Sorrow knew that this was because he felt the danger. If he didn't discover it in advance, he would be finished if he was bitten by this kind of vampire ant. This kind of ant was poisonous. After being bitten, the whole body would be paralyzed, and the consequence would be to be directly devoured by the ant. After changing the location, Night Sorrow continued to meditate and cultivate. Wandering around in this kind of night was no different from seeking death. After cultivating until dawn, Night Sorrow drank a few mouthfuls of wine, ate a fasting pill and fed Tianyu a beast pill. After that, he continued to move forward with Tianyu. There were towering old trees everywhere, but the gaps between the old trees were very big. The other plants couldn't compete with the old trees for nutrients, so naturally they couldn't survive. While moving forward, Night Sorrow didn't go aimlessly. He went in the direction where the energy was the densest. He didn't worry about getting lost because he had experience surviving in the wasteland. Tianyu, who was following beside Night Sorrow, didn't stay idle. He hunted the birds that he saw, and from time to time he would peck out 2 scorpions from the ground. Maybe it was because of the special aura, but after killing the birds and scorpions, Tianyu directly ate them. As Night Sorrow went deeper, all kinds of demonic beasts appeared. However, they couldn't withstand Night Sorrow and Tianyu's attacks. In the process of moving forward, Night Sorrow collected a lot of rare materials. The main ingredient of a rank 4 profound meditation pill was the profound meditation grass. The main ingredient of a rank 5 profound meditation pill was the void grass. These things were priceless outside. The herbs here were somewhat different from the ones outside. They contained tyrannical energy, but Night Sorrow felt that after being refined by the alchemy furnace, the tyrannical energy could be separated. Night Sorrow also found a kind of poisonous bone-rotting grass. It was a kind of poisonous grass that would corrode the flesh and bones of humans and animals when it came into contact with it. Night Sorrow smashed one of the bone-rotting grass with a stone, covered the stone with the grass juice and wrapped it in a cloth. If he met an irresistible enemy, he could use it as a hidden weapon. The remaining dozen of them were also kept. After traveling for 3 days, the strongest demonic beast Yishang encountered was a peak rank 3 demonic beast. He didn't feel that it was very dangerous, so Yishang didn't waste any time. He rode Heavenly Feather and flew in the direction of the dense energy. Night Sorrow didn't know how big this void fiendish space was, nor did he know from which area Holy Light Temple, Thunder Rumbling Sect and Red Cloud Sect entered from. He also didn't know if they were closer to the core area than him, but there was nothing wrong with making the best use of his time. While moving forward, Night Sorrow also paid attention to the situation. After all, this was a dangerous area. After flying for a day, after flying for 6,000 to 7,000 miles, Night Sorrow stopped moving forward. He didn't dare to move forward during the night. When he cultivated again, Night Sorrow knew that his judgment was correct. When he cultivated, his body absorbed more energy. During the day he cultivated at night. After half a month of cultivating, Night Sorrow's cultivation of the Myriad Tao treasured book improved very quickly. The main reason was that the energy in this space was very rich. The disadvantage was that it was very violent. Night Sorrow's body could absorb, assimilate and refine the energy, so the problem of violence was not the key. Night Sorrow didn't know how long it would take for him to move forward. During this time, the demonic beasts that he encountered were very high level. When he started walking, Night Sorrow only met 2 rank 3 demonic beasts. But now, standing on Tianyu's back, he could often see rank 3 demonic beasts. However, Night Sorrow didn't care about them and kept moving forward in the direction of the rich energy. Just when Night Sorrow was about to rest on Tianyu, an unexpected situation occurred. 3 tiger eagles appeared in the sky. They were extremely ferocious demonic beasts with a bird's body and a tiger's head. Seeing the 3 tiger eagles rushing toward Tianyu, Night Sorrow took out the sky-piercing spear and threw it toward the 2 demonic beasts with higher cultivation. Chapter 280. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? Show.net provides you with wonderful novels to read. If it was any other time, Night Sorrow wouldn't mind letting Tianyu fight and practice his combat skills. However, he couldn't in the Void Fiend space mainly because it was difficult to replenish energy. Night Sorrow didn't want Tianyu to expend too much energy and was also worried that Tianyu would be injured. Night Sorrow's sky-piercing spears were as fast as lightning, carrying 2 streaks of black light as they shot into the heads of the 2 tiger hawks in front, directly killing them without any suspense. Tianyu, suppress it to the ground. Night Sorrow communicated with Tianyu. There was only 1 mid-stage rank 3 tiger hawk left. Night Sorrow planned to try taming it. He had a few beast taming crystals with him, so if there was a suitable flying tame beast he would definitely capture it. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Tianyu's wings flapped and his body rose into the air, dodging the tiger hawk's charge. Then with a spin he landed on the back of the last tiger hawk. A pair of sharp claws pressed down on the tiger hawk's flapping wings, and a sharp beak bit the back of the tiger hawk's neck, firmly suppressing the tiger hawk that was about to flip over. The tiger hawk couldn't fly, so it could only extend its wings as far as possible and land on the ground. Once it landed on the ground it couldn't move. Night Sorrow jumped off Tianyu's back, took out an ice serpent tendon from his storage ring, and tied the tiger hawk's 2 huge wings together. Only then did he retrieve his 2 sky-piercing spears. Standing in front of the tiger hawk's head, Night Sorrow raised his right hand and slapped the tiger hawk's head, because the tiger hawk was glaring at him angrily. Night Sorrow's energy-infused right hand was no different from a weapon. This slap caused the tiger hawk's head to fall to the side. I know your intelligence isn't low and you can understand my words. Now I'll give you 2 choices. Submit or die. Yi Sorrow said to Tiger Eagle, who was still glaring at him, and slapped him again with his right hand. The tiger eagle glared at Night Sorrow with its black and red eyes. It kept roaring. Birds chirped, but the tiger eagle's roar was a tiger's roar. Looking at Tigerhawk's eyes, Night Sorrow pressed Tigerhawk's head with his left hand and slapped him 5 or 6 times with his right hand. The tiger eagle's head was swaying and it was dizzy. "Let me ask you again, are you going to submit?" While Night Sorrow was asking, his right hand was constantly twitching. He knew that the demonic beasts here were different from the ones outside. The demonic beasts here were violent, so he had to use violence to make them submit. After beating it twice and seeing that the tiger eagle had no intention of submitting, Night Sorrow took out the sky-piercing spear from his waist. If he couldn't subdue it, then he could only kill it. Seeing Night Sorrow take out the sky-piercing spear, fear appeared in the tiger eagle's eyes. It felt the aura of death from the sky-piercing spear. "I'll ask you again, are you going to submit or not?" Night Sorrow coldly looked at the tiger eagle and asked. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the tiger eagle crawled in front of Night Sorrow and stuck its head to the ground. Seeing this, Night Sorrow took back the sky-piercing spear and patted the tiger eagle's head. This was to tell the tiger eagle that he accepted its submission. After the tiger eagle submitted, Night Sorrow went forward and untied the dragon tendons that bound its wings. He knew the demonic beast's character. Once they submitted, they wouldn't betray. Submitting demonic beasts was different from taming beasts. Taming beasts belonged to whoever tamed them, just like Su Chenbai's golden-eyed sparrow. Submitting demonic beasts were extremely valuable. They would absolutely obey orders and wouldn't betray. If Night Sorrow didn't use them, he could give them away. They would also be obedient to their master. Without the original master's orders, even if they died, no one else could control them. Looking at the 2 dead tiger eagles, Night Sorrow put away the demonic beast cores and teeth. Then he rode Jianghu and brought the tiger eagle a distance away before resting. Looking at the rank 3 level 5 tiger eagle, Night Sorrow was filled with joy. Its speed and fighting strength were inferior to Jianghu, but it would be different as they went deeper. Jianghu wasn't used to the tyrannical energy here, but the tiger eagle wasn't a problem. After Night Sorrow fed the tiger eagle and Jianghu beast pills, he made a shack and began to meditate. After calming down, Night Sorrow knew that he was unknowingly affected by the tyrannical energy in the void fiendish space. Otherwise, he wouldn't have treated the tiger eagle so violently. After quietly cultivating for a night, Night Sorrow rode Jianghu forward. As the tyrannical energy became denser, Jianghu's condition began to deteriorate. The consumption was quite large. In this situation, Night Sorrow landed on the tiger eagle's back and continued to fly forward. Bored, Night Sorrow took out a bone-rotting grass and smeared the grass juice on the 2 tiger eagles' teeth. Then he wrapped them in cloth and put them away. He didn't dare to touch them directly. Out of respect for the unknown, as long as it could increase his ability to protect himself, Night Sorrow didn't care what method it was. As for firing the bone-rotting eagle teeth, Night Sorrow wasn't worried about hurting himself. He wore the azure claw glove on his left hand, so it didn't affect him when he fired it. However, as long as the target was hit by the bone-rotting eagle teeth, it would be miserable. As they advanced, battles occurred from time to time. Night Sorrow didn't do much, it was Jianghu and the tiger eagle that did the killing. When they encountered ordinary flying beasts, Night Sorrow would directly deal with them with the sky-piercing spear. Ordinary beasts weren't worthy of Night Sorrow's attention, so he was too lazy to tame them. The tiger eagle was different. It was a beast with a lot of potential. This rank 3 level 5 wasn't even an adult yet, so it was normal that it wasn't Jianghu's opponent. Not to mention Jianghu's talent, his cultivation was also at the rank 3 level 7, much higher than the tiger eagle. The tyrannical energy was getting more and more intense, suppressing Jianghu. Night Sorrow and Jianghu talked about it and planned to recall Jianghu. However, Jianghu felt that it was still okay and didn't want to be recalled to the beast-taming space. It had a strong personality and didn't want to admit defeat. It didn't like the tiger eagle, so it naturally didn't think it was worse than the tiger eagle. The tyrannical energy was getting more and more intense, bringing with it a sense of emptiness that Night Sorrow couldn't describe. Obviously, the tyrannical energy was very fierce, so there shouldn't be any other feeling. However, Night Sorrow could feel this strong sense of emptiness. After advancing for a month, Night Sorrow felt that he had advanced hundreds of thousands of miles. However, he felt that the core area of this space was still very far away. Night Sorrow calculated that the Medicine Valley was millions of miles away from the Holy Light Temple and the Thunder Rumbling School. Even if he rode a flying beast, it would still take a few months. This space had a space passage between these two places, which meant that it was at least millions of miles wide or long. In this month, Night Sorrow used the best quality soul condensing pill to cultivate, so his true chi didn't advance much. However, the Myriad Tao Treasure Book's advancement was terrifying, reaching the peak of level 4 of the bone forging stage. On this day, Night Sorrow felt that the surrounding temperature was rapidly rising. The further he advanced, the higher the temperature. Then Night Sorrow saw a world of fire. It was a huge magma lake. This kind of situation made Night Sorrow somewhat happy. He knew that only this kind of special area could possibly produce heavenly materials and earthly treasures. There wouldn't be anything in ordinary areas, just some materials. After receiving Jianghu and the Tiger Eagle, Night Sorrow came to the magma lake. Chapter 281. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Looking at the green rocky path that extended endlessly into the magma lake, Night Sorrow hesitated. He didn't know where this green rocky path led to or where the final destination was. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to go in and take a look. Since he was already here, he couldn't leave any regrets, even though the temperature here was already unbearable. After making his decision, Night Sorrow carried his reincarnation spear and stepped onto the green rocky path, heading inside. The heat coming from the bottom of his feet made Night Sorrow extremely uncomfortable, but he insisted on walking forward. As Night Sorrow moved forward, the violent aura weakened and was replaced by surging fire energy. Night Sorrow's silk robe was already rolled up. Sweat flowed down his cheeks and a burnt smell came from his boots. Night Sorrow circulated his true chi and used the mysterious jade spiritual energy in his hands to protect his feet, so that his combat boots wouldn't be burnt and his feet wouldn't be burned. Holding the wine jug, Night Sorrow drank a mouthful when he was thirsty and took a rest when he was tired. While moving forward, Night Sorrow didn't give up on cultivating. The pressure here was even more terrifying than the pressure at Danding Cliff. It was more unbearable than the pressure at Danding Cliff, so it was very suitable for cultivating the Myriad Tao Treasured Tome. Under the state of cultivation, Night Sorrow moved forward day after day. Other than the green rocky path in front and behind him, there was only the churning magma lake, or rather, the sea of magma. Night Sorrow didn't give up. He knew that there was an end to the sea of magma, it was just a matter of how far it was. After walking day and night, other than increasing his cultivation, Night Sorrow was already numb to other things. On the 7th day of walking, Night Sorrow saw a special scene. A towering volcano sat in the middle of the sea of magma. The bottom of the volcano was made of black and red rocks. As the height of the volcano extended, there were lush green ancient trees. Magma was constantly spewing out from the peak of the mountain, but the distance was quite far. It didn't fall on the volcano and didn't harm the green vegetation. Night Sorrow felt a chill when he arrived at the top of the mountain, or rather, the island. He felt much more energetic. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of wine, Night Sorrow walked towards the island. After taking a few steps, Night Sorrow bumped into a wave of energy. This wave of energy sent Night Sorrow tumbling. Yishang, who was supporting himself on the ground, stretched out his right hand and slowly walked forward. After taking 5 steps forward, Night Sorrow's outstretched hand felt energy. Night Sorrow controlled his body to move forward slowly. He did not dare to collide head-on. As he moved slowly, Night Sorrow's body entered the energy. He entered slowly and the energy did not reject him. Love Gon Little Sake walking in the energy. Night Sorrow was extremely shocked. The energy was so dense that it almost liquefied. The energy was pure and not violent. If it wasn't for the fact that he had to continue exploring, Night Sorrow would have immediately sat down cross-legged to cultivate. It would definitely be several times faster than on Danding Cliff. Original EP version Y√1X release $4. After walking forward slowly for a while, Night Sorrow found a foggy cave entrance. Night Sorrow did not dare to move forward quickly. He was afraid that it would cause a violent rebound of energy. Every step he took was very careful. With such dense energy, if it went berserk, it would definitely tear him to pieces. The further they went, the denser the energy became. When they entered the cave, it wasn't as dark as Yishang had imagined. The light in the cave was very good, and the walls of the cave were full of shiny objects. After taking a closer look, Night Sorrow's heart could not help but quiver. The glowing objects were all crystals. A large number of low-grade spirit stones were shining. Night Sorrow continued forward. The cave passage was not parallel. It extended underground. Controlling his speed, Night Sorrow moved forward slowly. After walking for an hour, Night Sorrow estimated that he had entered the inner part of the island. In other words, he was 10,000 meters below the volcano. However, he had not reached the end. Night Sorrow was not anxious. He was only looking forward to what would happen next. After another hour, Night Sorrow reached the end of the passage. It was a huge cave, a cave in the belly of the mountain. Inside the cave, visible red and white energy spiraled. In the core area were two pools. One was a fiery red magma pool. Above the magma pool floated a fist-sized red stone. The red energy came from this stone. Most of it entered the magma pool, and only a small portion floated in all directions. On the other side was a much smaller pool. Above the pool floated a white stone. However, it was smaller, only the size of an egg. Origin Stone. Heaven's Mandate Stone. Night Sorrow's heart shook. These two were Heaven's Mandate Stones. There was no need to ask how Night Sorrow knew. Seeing these two stones, Night Sorrow was sure that these were the most precious and rare Heaven's Mandate Stones. This was his feeling. Night Sorrow put on the claw glove that the sect had made for him. These two Heaven's Mandate Stones were supreme treasures. He was afraid that the energy on them would harm people. Night Sorrow planned to take the water attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone first. The water attribute was relatively less harmful. At this time, the energy fluctuations could be seen with the naked eye. Night Sorrow was not afraid of the energy suppression. Dodging the ribbon-like energy, Night Sorrow came to the pool where the water attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone was. After looking for a while, Night Sorrow's right hand was filled with mysterious jade spirit chi. He slowly reached under the water attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone and gently held it in his hand. The moment he touched the Destiny Stone, an image of a surging wave appeared in Yishang's mind. Then there was a small stream, a fast river, a surging river, and the waves of the sea. All kinds of dynamic images kept flashing. Shaking his head, Night Sorrow withdrew his hand. He looked at the Heaven's Mandate Stone in his hand. He knew that the images just now were the evolution of the law of water. Holding the water attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone, Night Sorrow's joy was indescribable. He could fulfill his promise to Wu Lingfei and give an explanation to Qinji Tower. Also, he could use the Sikong Chiyu. After taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow took out a jade box and put the Heaven's Mandate Stone inside before putting it into his storage ring. When he lowered his head, Night Sorrow noticed that the water in the pool was not water at all. It was an extremely pure spirit liquid, much purer than the spirit liquid from the medicinal cauldron. Night Sorrow took out 2 wine jars and began to fill them. He could not waste spirit liquid like this. Yishang's wine jugs were very high grade, and they were all made of celadone. After filling 2 jugs, Yishang, who had no empty jugs, took out a jug of wine. When he poured the wine into the jug, he found that the spirit liquid in the pool had disappeared. It had all seeped into the ground. This made him a bit annoyed. At least 1 jug of spirit liquid had disappeared. After dealing with the water attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone, Night Sorrow looked at the fire attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone. This fire attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone was much bigger than the water attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone. Night Sorrow came to the side of the huge lava pool. When the energy in the air appeared, he jumped up and reached for the fire attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone with his right hand. Very smoothly, Yishang managed to obtain the fire attribute Destiny Stone. Looking at the lava that was filled with energy, Yishang could only sigh. He couldn't take that thing. After putting away the fire attribute Heaven's Mandate Stone, Night Sorrow took out his extra Thunder Cry sword and started to dig around the cave. There were all extreme quality spirit stones. Chapter 282. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? I will provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow was playing hard. He only dug out peak-grade spirit stones and there were very few high-grade ones. After digging out all the peak-grade spirit stones in the cave, Night Sorrow obtained several hundred of them. Seeing that there were no more peak-grade spirit stones in the cave, Night Sorrow took the Thunder Cry sword and started digging along the tunnel. He dug as he walked out. Chapter 6px. Original Chapter 6px. 2 hours later, Night Sorrow had dug out more than 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. Seeing that there were no more high-grade spirit stones, Night Sorrow wiped the Thunder Cry sword and put it away. The Thunder Cry sword was of high quality, and ordinary weapons would have been chipped and broken if he dug like this. Night Sorrow did not touch the mid-grade spirit stones. 1,000 high-grade spirit stones were equivalent to more than 100,000 mid-grade spirit stones, not to mention the hundreds of peak-grade spirit stones. As he walked, Night Sorrow discovered that the energy in the tunnel had weakened. It was not as dense as before, and the further he walked, the thinner the energy became. After leaving the underground cave and returning to the volcano, Night Sorrow saw that the environment had changed. The lava on the volcano was no longer erupting, and the lush ancient trees were a little withered. Night Sorrow knew that this was because he had taken the Destiny Stone, which had destroyed the energy structure here. The Fire Attribute Destiny Stone contained the Fire Attribute Law, so it formed a lava lake and the volcano was constantly erupting. As for why there were green trees on the volcanoes and the lava lake, that was because of the Water Element Destiny Stone. The Water Attribute Destiny Stone's existence had preserved a green land in a world of fire. Now that it had been taken away, this green land would no longer exist. Night Sorrow searched the small but tall green volcano for 6 hours. He collected many spirit herbs, including several hundred void grass and clear void grass. The most valuable spirit herbs he obtained were 2 stalks of yin-yang spirit fruits, which he saw above the cave entrance. Night Sorrow found out that they were Tier 6 treasures after comparing them with the Fey Illustrated Handbook. They were the main ingredient for the Tier 6 elixir pill, the dual polarity pill. After plundering everything here, Night Sorrow planned to leave. How to leave? There was only one limestone path. If he followed it back, it would waste more than half a month. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow let out the Tiger Eagle and fed it a beast essence pill. He then rode the Tiger Eagle in the direction he planned, even if he did not find a foothold, even if there was a lava lake in front of him. Other people wouldn't dare to do this. Once the flying demonic beast's energy was exhausted and there was no place to land, it would be a dead end. Flying demon beasts wouldn't be able to last long above such a lava lake, but Yi Shang wasn't afraid. First of all, he had the Origin Spirit Elixir to support the Tiger Eagle's recovery. In addition, he had Tianyu. Even if Tianyu was not used to this kind of high temperature, he could hold on for a while and give the Tiger Eagle time to recover. When he came, he did not know the situation and needed to scout. Night Sorrow did not dare to fly on a demonic beast. Now that he wanted to leave, he did not have so many misgivings. Night Sorrow had been bitterly cultivating on the limestone path. The results of his cultivation were very obvious. His chi had reached the mid-8th level of the core condensation realm and he had reached the peak of the 4th level of the bone forging realm. He was about to break through. If he did not break through, he would not be able to increase his cultivation. This was a volcanic island. There could be danger at any time, so Night Sorrow did not dare to break through here. The Tiger Eagle flew at a very high altitude. This way it could avoid the high temperature of the lava lake. Even so, its speed was not fast. Standing on the Tiger Eagle's back, Night Sorrow had been scouting the situation. Every hour, he would feed the Tiger Eagle a drop of Spirit Spring Elixir to replenish its energy. Flying while resisting the high temperature was extremely taxing on the Tiger Eagle. Half a day later, Night Sorrow felt a violent energy. Only when there was not enough fire energy would the violent energy be obvious. Night Sorrow knew that they were not far from the edge of the lava lake. After replenishing the Tiger Eagle's energy, Night Sorrow controlled it to continue flying. Finally, before the sky turned dark, the Tiger Eagle flew out of the lava lake's range. Night Sorrow did some calculations. Even if the environment was bad and the Tiger Eagle flew very slowly, it still flew about 3,000 miles in a day. This meant that the lava lake's range of 5,000 miles might be exaggerated, but it was at least 6,000 to 7,000 miles. Recalling the Tiger Eagle to rest, Night Sorrow let out Tianyu. Riding Tianyu for a while, he felt that the heat was not as hot anymore. Only then did he set up a shack to rest. His butt had not touched the ground for several days. After sitting down, Night Sorrow felt tired. He also let out the Tiger Eagle, fed it and Tianyu Beast Essence pills, and told the two beasts to be vigilant. Night Sorrow planned to rest for a while before making a breakthrough in the Myriad Dao Tome. Not making a breakthrough would delay his progress. After eating some jerky, drinking some wine, and looking at the treasures he had obtained, Night Sorrow began to meditate and cultivate. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, the two of them arrived at the green rock path that Night Sorrow had walked on. If Night Sorrow saw them, he would recognize that one of them was the genius of the Golden Flame sect, Su Yuan. "Cousin, why is the environment here so bad?" Su Yuan asked. Su Yuan's cultivation had improved very quickly. After the Venerable Convention, he had broken through to the core condensation realm. Now he was at the peak of the 5th level of the core condensation realm and had the strength to fight with late-stage core condensation realm experts. Therefore he had also entered the void fiendish space. Don't be afraid of the harsh environment. Remember, only special environments can produce heavenly treasures. If we can obtain the Destiny Stone this time, then our position in the Extreme Heaven Tower will rise, said the man Su Yuan referred to as his cousin. This young man was called Su Wang. When he entered the void fiendish space, his cultivation was at the peak of the core condensation realm. After eating a pill, he broke through to the 4th level of the soul condensation realm. After eldest cousin goes out, he will be able to get the attention of He. At that time he will be the patrol of Tianji Tower, Su Yuan said enviously. You have to work hard too. Let's see how we can get there, Su Wang said as he observed the green rock path. After looking for a while, Su Wang made the same decision as Night Sorrow. They would go in and take a look. Su Wang had his Jin Qi to protect his body, while Su Yuan channeled the power of his sect's ultimate skill, Golden Flame Hand, to his feet to protect them. The two of them proceeded towards the lava lake. Not long after they entered, other people came one after another. In the middle of the night, Night Sorrow raised the cultivation of the Myriad Dao Tome to the 5th level of the Broken Bone Tome. After the Myriad Dao Tome was successfully upgraded, Night Sorrow ate a top-grade core condensation pill to stabilize the cultivation of the Myriad Dao Tome while working hard to cultivate his true qi. After dawn, Night Sorrow got up and drank 2 mouthfuls of wine. He cultivated his spear technique for a while and was ready to continue forward. Now the violent energy suppression was very strong. Tianyu was not used to it. After communicating with Tianyu was still unwilling to enter the beast-taming space. Chapter 283. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? Say net, providing you with wonderful novels to read. This was Night Sorrow's intuition. This kind of violent, baleful aura, as well as the empty pressure, was very strong after entering the void fiendish space. Love, gone little say W, Chu in comparison from feeling the fire attribute energy to finding the fire attribute source stone, it was only a range of 10,000 miles. What did this mean? This meant that there might be source stones in places that emitted hollowness, violence and baleful aura. Moreover, they were of a much higher grade than fire and water attribute source stones. Resisting the pressure, Night Sorrow continued to control the tiger eagle to fly. As they moved forward, Night Sorrow saw many high-level demonic beasts, some of which were even stage 4. There were also some whose cultivation he could not see. Fortunately, these demonic beasts could not fly. Night Sorrow moved forward while observing the surrounding situation. The harsh environment did not make Night Sorrow nervous. Instead, it made him feel relieved. This way, others would not be able to get ahead of him and he would not lose the initiative. In this kind of exploration, the initiative was especially important. It was just like how he had obtained the fire and water attribute destiny stones. They were his. The people who went in later could only dig for the spirit stones he did not want. But at such a crucial time, who would dig for spirit stones? Looking at the tiger eagle under his feet and Tianyu flying beside him, Night Sorrow felt that his speed was definitely fast. Even if the others had flying demonic beasts, they would not be of a higher grade than Tianyu's or stronger than Tianyu's. Tianyu's flying was already very difficult, let alone the others' flying demonic beasts. It had to be known that many people did not have flying demonic beasts. Day after day passed. Night Sorrow sat on the tiger eagle and led Tianyu forward. Just yesterday the tiger eagle had advanced to stage 3, level 6. Its strength had increased, and its resistance to pressure was stronger than before. Night Sorrow's cultivation was also rapidly increasing. He was now using the spiritual origin liquid to cultivate. It was more effective than any pill. 1 drop of spiritual origin liquid was enough for him to absorb for 2 days without any side effects. Night Sorrow was unable to estimate the value of the 2 jars of origin spiritual liquid. In the Medicine Valley, only Heaven Stage disciples were qualified to use the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid, and they were only allowed to use 2 drops a year. However, Night Sorrow's spiritual liquid of origin was much more effective than the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid. Moreover, he didn't even need to count the drops. He had 2 full jars. Origin spiritual liquid was a rare treasure. Just taking out a small bottle was enough to shock many people. As he continued to cultivate, Night Sorrow's true qi cultivation was not far from the peak of the 8th level of the core condensation realm. His Myriad Dao treasure tome had also reached the middle of the 5th level of the bone forging realm. His chest and abdomen had also strengthened by half. However, as they ventured deeper, the tiger eagle could no longer hold on. Night Sorrow did not even know how many tens of thousands of li he had advanced. The violent energy was tyrannical. However, the suppression of this kind of aura was still manageable. This kind of violent aura had an extremely strong sense of emptiness, which greatly weakened the resistance of Night Sorrow, Jianghu, and the Tiger Eagle. Seeing that the Tiger Eagle's flying speed was no longer there, Night Sorrow controlled the Tiger Eagle and Jianghu to land. He put them away and then began to walk. The feeling of landing on the ground was indeed different. Feeling that he had roots, Night Sorrow began to run. Right now, Night Sorrow felt as if he was climbing Danding Cliff. The pressure was comparable to the energy impact of Danding Cliff, which was about 4,000 meters high. This degree of pressure was not difficult for Night Sorrow. In order to seize the time, Night Sorrow increased his running speed. Night Sorrow shuttled through the forest and grassland. When he encountered a demonic beast, as long as it couldn't attack him, he would ignore it and advance at full speed. After running for a few hundred li, Night Sorrow saw an opponent whose cultivation level he couldn't see clearly. It was a lion with blood-colored fur. This blood-colored lion blocked Night Sorrow's path forward. Holding the reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow sized up this lion. He knew that the demonic beasts in the void fiendish space had a much stronger fighting strength than the demonic beasts of the same level in the outside world. Their temperaments were extremely violent. In addition, they were also used to the environment here. They grew up here and had already adapted to the energy suppression here. While Night Sorrow was sizing up this blood-colored lion, the lion moved. Its two-zhonglong body leaped up and rushed towards Night Sorrow at an incomparably fast speed. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and thrust it out. The blood-colored lion in the air didn't change its path and continued to pounce. At the same time, one of its front paws slapped towards the reincarnation spear. This time, Night Sorrow didn't use the vibration force. He directly used the wave force. He didn't want to shake off the blood-colored lion's sharp claws. He wanted to directly break the lion's claws. Gotcha. With a crisp sound, Night Sorrow's ferocious spear directly chopped off one of the blood-colored lion's front paws. He then executed the soaring dragon steps and dodged to the side. When Night Sorrow dodged, the blood-colored lion missed its target. After missing its target, the blood-colored lion only had 3 legs left to support its body. At this moment, the blood-colored lion's bloodthirsty temperament could be seen. It didn't care about its broken front paws and continued to pounce towards Night Sorrow. When the blood-colored lion had 4 legs, Night Sorrow wasn't afraid, let alone now that it only had 3 legs left. After a few rounds, Night Sorrow slit its throat with a single spear strike. Night Sorrow split open the blood-colored lion's head with a single spear strike and took out its demonic core. Demonic beasts were different from humans. A human's demonic core was in their dantian. However, most demonic beasts had their demonic cores in their heads. After putting away the demonic core, Night Sorrow released the Tiger Eagle and Jianghu. Seeing the blood-colored lion's corpse, the Tiger Eagle rushed over. Its bloodthirsty nature liked this kind of prey. When the Tiger Eagle moved, Jianghu also went over and began to eat the blood-colored lion's corpse. This made Night Sorrow, who was about to feed Jianghu with the spirit spring liquid, stunned. In the past, Jianghu wasn't like this. Night Sorrow then understood that this was the influence of the void fiendish space's aura. Night Sorrow didn't stop Jianghu. After all, a demonic beast's body contained a very rich blood essence. Eating this wouldn't harm Jianghu. When the Tiger Eagle and Jianghu finished eating, Night Sorrow put them away and continued to move forward. While moving forward, Night Sorrow put the bone-corroding grass-poison stone bag on his waist and the sky-piercing spear on his back. Night Sorrow knew that as they moved forward, the situation would become more and more dangerous. Demonic beasts of all levels would appear. Once a demonic beast appeared that he couldn't kill, he would have to use some tricks. As they moved forward, fewer demonic beasts appeared. However, the demonic beasts that appeared had the same thing in common, and that was their strength. In such an area, ordinary demonic beasts couldn't exist. Just like the lava lake that Night Sorrow went to, the environment wasn't suitable for demonic beasts to live in. However, if there were any, it would be dangerous. It was definitely a heaven-defying demonic beast. First we send. After moving forward for another 6 days, Night Sorrow was a little worried. The strength of the energy suppression had increased a lot. It was about the same as Danding Cliff's 4600. If this pressure continued to increase, it would be hard to say if he could get close to the core area. Although he was worried, Night Sorrow still moved forward. If there was an opportunity, he had to fight for it. If he couldn't fight for it, it was one thing. If he fought for it, it was another thing. Chapter 284. Genius 1 second remember love divided by go divided by little? I'll provide you with a wonderful novel to read. Su Wang's face was gloomy. He looked at the magma pool and the empty pool of water origin spiritual liquid without saying a word. Love Gon Little's sake Webka cousin the spirit stones that were dug out might be top grade and upper grade spirit stones. What's left are middle grade spirit stones, Su Yuan said angrily. Spirit stones are nothing. This is the middle of a huge magma lake. The fire attribute energy is very dense. An origin stone might have appeared but we don't know who got it, Su Wang said coldly. Is that possible? Su Yuan said in shock. It's very possible. We're in the middle of this magma lake. Look at the edge of the magma pool. That's a sign that it hasn't cooled for long. That means the fire attribute energy here has decreased recently. The fire attribute energy here was much denser before. This means that a fire attribute treasure has been taken away, Su Wang said. Then what should we do? We can't guess which direction this person left in. Su Yuan was a bit anxious. This time he came out with instructions from his sect seniors, so he naturally knew how precious the Heaven's Mandate stone was. What kind of concept was this? At least he didn't go out the way he came. We can see him that way. Let's go out and check. Su Wang walked out of the cave. In front of the Destiny Stone, middle-grade spirit stones were nothing. As they checked, they found the Tiger Eagle claw mark. That bastard, he has a flying beast, Su Yuan cursed. To be able to fly out of this magma lake, it must be a high-level flying beast. We don't know which direction he flew in. This claw mark is special. It's not an ordinary flying beast. We can recognize it when we see it. Let's stick to our original plan and head towards the place with the denser energy. The treasure might not be the only place, Su Wang said. If we want to fly, can our golden-eye sparrow withstand the temperature of the magma lake? Su Yuan was unsure. No, we have to go out the way we came. Flying above the magma lake will consume a lot of energy. If we can't fly out, we'll be dead. Su Wang did not dare to take the risk. Night Sorrow dared to take the risk because he had the spiritual spring nectar and a large amount of spiritual origin nectar. Su Wang also had spirit spring water, but he only had a small amount. He would not waste it here. In fact, if he hadn't obtained a large amount of origin spiritual liquid from the underground cave, Night Sorrow wouldn't have been able to fly on the Tiger Eagle. He really couldn't afford it. Night Sorrow withstood the impact of the energy as he advanced. He treated this as a form of cultivation. He ate the Flood Dragon Bone Forging Pill and Spiritual Origin Liquid to withstand the pressure as he advanced, using the pressure to temper the energy he absorbed. The Spiritual Origin Elixir was extremely helpful to the cultivation of true Qi, but it was not as helpful to the cultivation of the Myriad Daos treasured tome. Therefore, Night Sorrow wanted to consume the Dragon Flood Bone Forging Pill. Time passed bit by bit, and Yi Shan's speed became slower and slower. Night Sorrow walked forward during the day and meditated at night. In any case, he had good wine and meat jerky in his storage ring, so his daily life was not a problem. After half a month, Night Sorrow felt that the pressure he was facing was about the same as the pressure at Danding Cliff. In other words, it would be very difficult for ordinary core condensation cultivators to advance here. However, Night Sorrow also saw a special area. It was a mountain whose peak could not be seen. Energy ribbons could be seen rotating around the mountain. Seeing this situation, Night Sorrow was very happy. This was the situation when he had obtained the fire and water elemental origin stones. Love Gon Little say Ko. Although he was happy, Night Sorrow knew that the next 100 miles would be very difficult to cross. After calming down, Night Sorrow started to attack again. He knew that it would be easy as long as he reached the foot of the mountain. The energy strips were produced when the energy exceeded the gaseous state and was close to the liquid state. At that time, the pressure would not be omnidirectional and could be avoided. What Night Sorrow didn't know was that in other directions, there were also people who were moving forward under the pressure, but their speed was much slower than his. Hundreds of miles to the east of Night Sorrow, several young men in embroidered clothes were constantly rushing forward. They were still far away from the mountain and could not see it. Brother Qingjie, we can't go on. If we continue to attack like this, there will be no end. A man in embroidered clothes said. The source of the energy suppression is definitely abnormal. It is very likely that there is a peerless treasure. Otherwise, no one will be able to get it. If we can get it, it will belong to our holy light religion. Then you guys can slowly walk behind. I will attack first. Ho Qingjie said. After entering the different space, he had a breakthrough and entered the severed divinity stage. With the true Qi protecting his body, he had an advantage over the others. Ho Qingjie slowly distanced himself from the others. It's meaningless for us to follow like this. Even if there are benefits, it will be taken away by others. Should we change direction? The man who spoke first suggested. His suggestion was adopted by the others. Several people separated to look for their own opportunities. In another direction, the same situation occurred. Everyone was not stupid. They knew that the source of the energy shock would be a precious treasure. It might be the destiny stone that the sect had urged them to obtain. However, the current situation was that the pressure was too great. Many people could not withstand it. Night Sorrow continued to attack. When he was 10 miles away from the bottom of the mountain, the energy suppression had reached the level of the 5,100 meters platform at Pill Tripod Cliff. The constant advance consumed a lot of Night Sorrow's energy. Fortunately, he had the spiritual liquid origin. If he consumed too much, he could directly use the spiritual liquid origin to replenish it. At the foot of the mountain, the energy suppression was reduced. Because the energy density had reached an extreme, it turned into energy stripes. It was not a seamless suppression. After taking a sip from the wine jug, Yishang turned around to look. Night Sorrow was very glad that he was able to reach here. The pressure in the final stage was at the 5,200 meters level at Pill Tripod Cliff. There were only a few core condensation disciples in the Medicine Valley who had reached this height. Other than that, it was a temporary impact. The pressure here was continuous for tens of thousands of miles. The people in the Medicine Valley could reach the 5,200 meters level at Pill Tripod Cliff, but they definitely could not reach here. Putting away the wine jar, Night Sorrow avoided the energy ripples and began to climb the mountain. The visible energy stripes were not much of a threat to Night Sorrow. He used the soaring dragon steps and quickly rushed to the top of the mountain. The lack of pressure made Night Sorrow feel abnormally relaxed. As he moved quickly, clouds and energy stripes appeared under him. However, he still could not see the end of the mountain. Night Sorrow continued to move and climb while avoiding the energy stripes that were getting denser and denser. 10,000 meters, 20,000 meters, Night Sorrow conquered higher and higher. Although there was no energy suppression, the feeling of emptiness and violence was still in his mind and heart. Head 4, Hair 0, the consumption was too great. Night Sorrow did not care about the heartache. He directly replenished his spiritual liquid origin and continued to attack the mountain. Chapter 285. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After looking at the clouds and energy strips below him, Night Sorrow raised his head and looked up. He still couldn't see the top of the mountain. Night Sorrow also noticed a special situation. The energy strips that he could see were blood-colored, but if he sensed it carefully, he would find that there was a very strong fluctuation outside of the red energy strips. It was an energy that couldn't be seen with the naked eye. In order to confirm his judgment, Night Sorrow broke off a rock from the mountain and threw it at the energy strips not far away. He threw it at the periphery of the blood-colored energy strips. The moment the rock was thrown, the energy fluctuation appeared and directly crushed the rock. The blood-colored energy strips only fluctuated a little. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. This rock confirmed his guess. The invisible energy outside of the blood-colored energy strips was the most dangerous. He didn't know what kind of energy it was, but he knew that it was very domineering. After stabilizing his emotions, Night Sorrow continued to charge upwards. He didn't believe that there was a mountain that he couldn't climb. As he climbed, the energy strips became denser. Night Sorrow was now also scouting ahead. He used the sky-piercing spear to scout ahead. He was also worried that he would encounter the invisible energy strips. 30,000 meters, 40,000 meters. Night Sorrow was extremely shocked. This wasn't a mountain range but a lone mountain. It was simply unimaginable that a lone mountain could have such a height. The highest mountain he had ever seen was the Eastern Snow Mountain in the Far East Icefield, but it was far inferior to this. While throwing the sky-piercing spear with the Ice Flood Dragon Tendon, Night Sorrow climbed upwards. He didn't need to use the Ice Flood Dragon Tendon to climb, but he was afraid that the energy strips would send the sky-piercing spear flying. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to find it. Climbing wasn't strenuous. Night Sorrow mainly focused on dodging the energy strips. As for riding a flying demonic beast, Night Sorrow didn't dare to think about it. The energy strips dancing in the sky were definitely a forbidden zone for flying demonic beasts. 60,000 meters, 70,000 meters. Night Sorrow estimated that he had climbed about 70,000 meters. The mountain walls were getting steeper and steeper. Sometimes, Night Sorrow had to stab the sky-piercing spear into the mountain walls to climb up. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. After climbing for a while, Night Sorrow finally saw the peak of the mountain. At the same time he also saw the situation at the top of the mountain. In the sky above the mountain peak, there was an enormous spinning energy vortex. The energy vortex covered the sky. Slowly Night Sorrow arrived at the peak of the mountain. Standing at the peak, Night Sorrow felt what it meant to be lonely at the top. This was the true peak of a mountain. The peak of the mountain was only 20 to 30 feet in radius. This mountain was more than 70,000 meters tall, and there was only a small landing area at the peak, surrounded by cliffs. This lone peak was like a sharp awl, and Night Sorrow was standing at the tip of the awl. Above Night Sorrow's head was a huge energy vortex. Love gone little sake Night Sorrow couldn't see how big the vortex was, but circles of blood-colored energy were spinning in the vortex. Night Sorrow knew that in the middle of the blood-colored stripes, there were even more tyrannical invisible energy stripes. Above Night Sorrow's head was the center of the vortex, and there were two round beads at the center. The one in the middle was a pale purple bead the size of an egg. It was spinning rapidly on its own. Not far from it there was a blood-colored bead. The blood-colored bead was spinning around the purple bead like the energy vortex. Destiny stones. After observing these two beads, Night Sorrow knew what they were. They were destiny stones. Moreover, they weren't ordinary destiny stones. They were the spatial origin of this fiendish space. The blood-colored one was the fiendish chi origin stone. It should be called the origin bead because it was an existence that surpassed the origin stone. Night Sorrow didn't know what attribute the other bead was, but he knew that the feeling of emptiness and powerlessness was coming from this bead. Fiendish space. Could this be the origin stone of the void attribute? This thought appeared in Night Sorrow's mind. After letting Tianyu out and telling Tianyu to stand still, Night Sorrow flashed and stood on the back of Tianyu's neck. His right hand, which was wearing a claw glove, reached for the blood fiend destiny bead. He knew that the core of this place was the purple destiny bead, so it wasn't wrong to grab it first. After being grabbed by Night Sorrow, the blood fiend destiny bead shook a few times and then stopped moving. Yishang took out a jade box and put it away. He put the blood fiend destiny pearl into his storage ring. Then he reached out to grab the void destiny pearl again. Just as he grabbed the purple void fate bead, Night Sorrow's expression changed. The shaking force was too strong and he almost couldn't grab it. Landing on the ground from Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow's true chi and myriad Tao Tome's energy exploded at the same time. His right hand tightly grabbed the purple destiny bead. His right hand almost couldn't hold it anymore. Night Sorrow put his left hand together and grabbed the purple destiny bead with both hands. When his left hand and right hand came together, something that shocked Night Sorrow happened. The purple void fate bead drilled into Night Sorrow's bare left hand. Like a wave of energy, it directly entered Night Sorrow's dantian. Then it stopped beside Night Sorrow's dantian and stopped moving. This situation shocked Night Sorrow. Such a dangerous thing had actually entered his dantian. Any shake could destroy his dantian, and it could even blow Night Sorrow into pieces. Night Sorrow carefully tried to circulate his true chi. After feeling that there was no problem, he used his true chi to hit the purple destiny bead twice. The purple destiny bead still didn't react. Only then did Night Sorrow put his foot down. When Night Sorrow felt a little more at ease, his expression changed again. At this time the wind and clouds changed. The energy whirlpool in the sky began to riot because it had lost its core. The strips of energy surrounding the mountain began to disperse, turning into a visible energy ball. Night Sorrow didn't care about that. He let out Tianyu and had Tianyu dodge the energy ball. Then he rode Tianyu down the mountain. He told Tianyu that if he was sucked in by the energy ball, he would be done for. Night Sorrow rode Tianyu down the mountain. The energy at the top of the mountain began to riot. Then it blew up the mountain and continued to press down. The sound of explosions continued to ring out. The energy pressed down closely behind Night Sorrow and Tianyu. The sky was filled with rocks as they flew down the mountain. Tianyu also knew that the situation was urgent. His flying speed was peerless. It was as if he was competing with the falling rocks. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the mountain that was getting shorter and shorter. He was very shocked. He had destroyed this great monument of nature. X $8 unique/original version 1, W's is the Q Steel E version. The peak of the mountain had been flattened. It was 10,000 meters high. The mountain had become thicker but the energy ball didn't break. However, the surface of the mountain was still exploding but the speed had decreased. After all, the mountain had become thicker. Tianyu, speed up. Let's run. Now that there was no danger, Night Sorrow was excited. He waved his arms and shouted. Tianyu let out a cry and continued to fly down the mountain. The harvest this time was too great. 2 space source stones. They were the source of the entire space. How could Night Sorrow not be happy? But then a problem appeared. The Nihility Fate Pearls and Blood Evil Fate Pearls were taken away. The originally incomparably tyrannical energy suppression disappeared. The others did not have to endure the pressure anymore. All kinds of flying demon beasts appeared and flew towards the lone peak. Everyone knew that this was a key area. Night Sorrow saw the black dots from afar and immediately understood what was going on. Chapter 286. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and flew close to the mountain peak. Due to the angle, the people in the distance couldn't see them. Love gone little say W. Chu. At this moment, Tianyu's speed was extremely fast. It knew that the situation was urgent. Since it had lived with Night Sorrow since it was young, Night Sorrow had never urged it. Night Sorrow was descending rapidly. The disciples of the super sects were riding on flying demonic beasts and didn't notice that Night Sorrow had already slipped down. When they weren't far from the bottom of the mountain, Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and began to fly horizontally. Just when Night Sorrow thought that everything was fine, a few men rode on flying demonic beasts and blocked his path. Which force are you from? What happened here? A man looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I don't know. I just arrived, Night Sorrow said. Leave your storage ring and flying demonic beasts and scram. The leader of the group, a man in a white robe, glanced at Night Sorrow and said, Get out of the way. I'll pretend that nothing happened. Night Sorrow didn't want to hurt anyone. He just wanted to leave. Do you want to die? Didn't you hear what my senior brother said? A young man in a brocade robe said flatteringly. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.ichuxs. Since you want to die, I won't talk nonsense. Night Sorrow shouted for Tianyu to fight. Then 2 sky-piercing spears flew out. After shooting out the sky-piercing spears, Night Sorrow's body soared into the sky. The reincarnation spear slashed at the leader of the group. The reincarnation spear was also infused with vibration energy. Following 2 miserable screams, Night Sorrow's violent sky-piercing spears killed 2 young men who weren't prepared for battle at all. You're courting death. Seeing that 2 of his fellow disciples had been killed, the white-robed young man was enraged. He waved his saber and slashed towards Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. At the same time he also left his mount. Ding. When the weapons collided, the young man's saber was deflected to the side. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear swung and slashed across the young man's throat with ease. #L is the only true YC version, and the other 1+3 are all pirated. After slashing the man's throat, Night Sorrow rushed towards the last person. Since he had already made his move, Night Sorrow had no intention of leaving anyone alive. Stop. We are from the Scarlet Cloud sect. Seeing Night Sorrow coming over, the man rode his flying beast and rushed up the mountain. His speed was incomparably fast. When Night Sorrow killed his 2 companions with his sky-piercing spear, he had already retreated. He could tell that Night Sorrow was no match for him. Seeing this guy running away, Night Sorrow called back Tianyu, who was about to chase after him. If he wanted to chase after him, it would be a waste of time. With so many elites gathered here, it was better to leave. Night Sorrow went to the corpses and collected the 2 storage rings, 1 storage belt and 3 beast-taming crystals. He also collected the 3 green-feathered eagles from the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples, collected the sky-piercing reeds and left on Tianyu. Night Sorrow didn't need the flying beast, but many people did. The disciples of Yang Lei Aoi and the others all lacked it. Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and flew rapidly in the sky. After flying for 700 to 800 li, he saw Yu Lin Tianjue Gu Lin and 2 other disciples of the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow. Yu shouted. Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to stop in the air and said, The disciples of all the forces have gathered in front. There's nothing to gain and there will be a chaotic battle. Alright, let's retreat then. Yu nodded. Alright. I just killed a few people. Our robes are the same. Don't count it to me. Night Sorrow didn't wait for them and left. He still had to find resources. Night Sorrow left, but Lin Tianjue didn't move. Martial Uncle, I think this is an opportunity. Night Sorrow doesn't dare to fight with him alone, but we have more people. Lin Tianjue said. In terms of seniority, he's your martial uncle. How can you call him by his name? Gu Lin, what do you think? Yu glared at Lin Tianjue and then looked at Gu Lin and the others. I'll listen to martial uncle and senior brother Lin. Gu Lin and the others said. Some of them were already out of ideas. They had already lost a few people on the way here. If they split up now, it would be very dangerous. I'm going. I can't come here for nothing. Lin Tianjue had already made up his mind. All right then. Let's go. Seeing Lin Tianjue's insistence, Yu didn't object. After all, they had been together for a long time. The escaping Scarlet Cloud sect's disciple flew towards the peak of the mountain. When he reached the peak, he saw the scene of a confrontation. The disciples of the major forces were facing each other and looking around. Senior brother Lei Bao, a few of our senior brothers were killed by a guy riding a white flying demonic beast. The Scarlet Cloud sect's disciple came to the front of the Thunder Rumbling sect's leader. A white flying demonic beast. Shangqiu, take a look. Is this the feather? Lei Bao took out a white feather and handed it to the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciple. It was a feather that Tianyu had dropped when he was hit by a rock. Thunder Rumbling sect and Scarlet Cloud sect were allies. This time, Scarlet Cloud sect had also entered through the passage of Thunder Rumbling sect. Yes, that's right. It's the flying demonic beast with this feather. The Scarlet Cloud sect's disciple, Shangqiu, took a look at the feather and said, he's the one who got here before us. Let's go. Lei Bao glanced at the disciples of the other forces and flew down the mountain. Since they knew who had arrived before them, they had to find him first. Lei Bao was the leader of the Thunder Rumbling sect's disciples and had already entered the Severed God realm. Soon after, some of the disciples of the other sects left to chase after Night Sorrow. Some of them searched the peak of the mountain, hoping to find an opportunity. More and more people left. Those who came here were the elites of the major forces. They weren't brainless. The environment here had been destroyed, which meant that the treasure that controlled the balance here had been lost. Before Yu and Lin Tianjue reached the peak, they were stopped by Lei Bao and the others. Shangqiu had pointed out that Yu and the others were the same as Night Sorrow. Soon after, a battle broke out. Because Lei Bao had entered the 4th level, Yu and Lin Tianjue were no match for him. They were all seriously injured and captured. Who's the one riding the white mount? Lei Bao looked at Yu. I don't know. Yu answered Lei Bao and turned his head to the side. Tell me, who are you? Who's the one riding the white mount? Lei Bao asked Gu Lin. If you want to kill us, then kill us. Don't talk so much nonsense. We are all cultivators. Humiliating us is meaningless. Gu Lin spat out a mouthful of blood and said, then tell me. If you don't, then there's no point in keeping you alive. Lei Bao's heavy sword was placed on Lin Tianjue's neck. Lin Tianjue was silent. He didn't expect Lei Bao to be so ruthless when he asked him this question. You are different from them. They didn't hesitate when they answered. Even if you killed them, they wouldn't say anything. I know that. But you will say it's because your eyes are wandering and you are afraid of death. Lei Bao's heavy sword slowly pressed down on Lin Tianjue's neck. Chapter 287. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. They don't even have confidence in you, haha. Are you going to talk or not? If you don't, then die. Lei Bao laughed and continued to press his heavy sword against Lin Tianjue's neck. I'll talk. Looking at Lei Bao's cold face, Lin Tianjue was scared. Lin Tianjue, you piece of trash. Gu Lin scolded. Ignoring Gu Lin, Lin Tianjue spilled the beans and told him everything about Night Sorrow. Let him go. Lei Bao pointed at Yu. CDG version IP Chapter 5 on TD. The disciple of Thunder sect released Yu. You have a backbone and strength. How about this? You go find Night Sorrow and tell him that the people of Medicine Valley are in our hands. Tell him to go to the entrance, I'll wait for you there. Lei Ming looked at Yu and said. Yu looked at Lei Ming and didn't say anything. He went over and helped the other disciples of Medicine Valley up and gave them healing pills. Go ahead. Don't think about saving Night Sorrow. I'll get the location of the entrance to Medicine Valley from him. You can give up on this shameless guy, but what about them? Lei Bao put away his heavy sword and slapped Lin Tianjue's face. Then he pointed at Gu Lin and the other two. I'll tell him, but please don't abuse the disciples of Medicine Valley. Yu looked at Gu Lin and the others and said. Lei Ming raised his leg and broke one of Lin Tianjue's legs. This is not worth your pleading. As for them, as long as they don't run, I won't make it difficult for them. After breaking Lin Tianjua's leg, Lei Bao said, "Trash. Martial uncle, you didn't let you come, but you insisted on coming. Then you shamelessly betrayed your fellow disciples. Even if others don't punish you, I won't let you go." Gu Lin glared at Lin Tianjua. Lin Tianjua's face turned pale. He didn't expect Lei Bao to be so ruthless. Lei Bao was very famous in Thunder Sect. Before he entered the spirit-severing stage, he was invincible in the core condensation stage of Thunder Sect. "Give him some resources and a few healing pills," Lei Bao said to a Thunder Sect disciple behind him. Lei Bao took Yu and the other storage rings. The Thunder Sect disciple took out a storage belt and threw it to Yu. "Go find Yishang. We'll head towards the passageway of your medicine valley. After you find him, don't leave the passageway. If you do, the other disciples of the medicine valley won't be able to leave," Lei Bao said. He planned to block the spatial passageway of the medicine valley. Yu didn't say anything. He flashed onto the back of the flying beast and left, following the path Yishang had taken. It did not matter if Lin Tianjua was saved or not, but there were still the 3 elite disciples of the medicine valley. Furthermore, Lei Bao would go to the spatial passageway and make things difficult for the other medicine valley disciples. Night Sorrow is the strongest person in the medicine valley team. No matter what Night Sorrow does, Night Sorrow must know. Night Sorrow traveled for more than 5,000 miles before he got down from Tianyu's back. He let Tianyu recover while he took a rest. This distance is relatively unsafe, but Night Sorrow is not afraid. At least he won't be surrounded. As long as he is not surrounded, Night Sorrow is not afraid of any battle. Night Sorrow first organized the materials of the Red Cloud Sect disciples. The 3 of them also collected a lot of herbs. Night Sorrow felt that the 4th and 5th level materials can be used to refine a lot of pills. After organizing the materials, Night Sorrow began to meditate cross-legged. There is still something in his Dantian that can go wrong at any time, the Void Fate Pearl. He controlled the spiritual energy in his Dantian to collide and refine the Void Fate Pearl. Night Sorrow studied it for an hour, but there was no reaction from the Void Fate Pearl. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow calmed down a little. It was an opportunity to obtain the Void Fate Pearl. Normally, the Void Fate Pearl would not hurt him. If it did not approve of him, it would not enter his Dantian. Feeling that there is no problem, Night Sorrow began to cultivate after consuming the spiritual liquid of origin. He is not far from the 9th level of the core formation realm. He may reach the peak of the 8th level at any time. Under the high pressure, it is difficult for Night Sorrow to cultivate slowly even if he wants to. After cultivating for a night, Night Sorrow began to move forward. He let Tianyu patrol in the air while he walked on the ground to look for spiritual herbs. Night Sorrow did not expect to have any big harvest. He has already obtained the space origin of the void fiendish space. What big harvest is there to look for? Perhaps there are other space origins in other places. But in this space with a radius of millions of miles, it is as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find it. It is a heaven-defying opportunity to encounter it. What Night Sorrow did not know is that it is not only the people from the Thunder Rumbling sect and EU who are looking for him. People from other sects are also looking for Night Sorrow, who is wearing a white battle suit and riding a white demonic beast. Many people heard the conversation between Shang Qiu and Lei Bao. Everyone believed that Gu Feng's treasure was taken by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow walked in the direction of the Medicine Valley. While looking for opportunities, he also improved his cultivation. After walking for a day, when they were about to set up camp in the evening, Tianyu in the sky let out a cry. 2 people appeared in Night Sorrow's sight. "Senior brother, it should be him," a man in a black robe said. "These 2 people are from the Holy Light Temple. They have been to Gu Feng's peak and saw Tianyu, so they made this judgment." Seeing the hostility of these 2 people, Night Sorrow did not say anything. He took out the sky-piercing spear and threw it. These 2 sky-piercing spears were dodged by the 2 Holy Light Temple disciples. However, Night Sorrow threw out another 2 spears. These 2 sky-piercing spears, which were imbued with vibration scripture, bounced off the other side's blocking weapons and directly nailed them to death. Night Sorrow stepped forward and collected the storage belts of the 2 guys. After taking back the sky-piercing spears, he left. If it was a strong opponent, Night Sorrow would be interested in exchanging pointers with them. However, this was also a level 8 core condensation stage opponent. Night Sorrow was not interested. Half an hour after Night Sorrow left, EU appeared. Seeing the blood stains that had not dried up in the wounds of the 2 people, he suddenly felt happy. He could see that the wounds were penetrating wounds, traces of a spear-type weapon. However, there were not many people who used spears. In this different space he had not seen anyone who used a spear. At present he only knew that Knight Sorrow used a spear. Riding on his flying demonic beast, Yu began to give chase. He had to find Yu Sorrow. The current situation was still not out of control. If he could solve the problem before Lei Bao gathered the Thunder Rumbling sect disciples to block the entrance, then the crisis would be resolved. After chasing for a while, Yu saw Knight Sorrow, who was making a fire and roasting meat. Knight Sorrow. Jumping off the flying demon beast, Yu staggered toward Knight Sorrow. What happened to you? Knight Sorrow helped Yu up and poured a bowl of wine for him. He could see that Yu was injured. We have a problem. Do you have any way to solve it? After drinking a bowl of wine, Yu explained the situation in detail. Lin Tianjue. What a scourge. Where are they now? Knight Sorrow was very annoyed. He had already said that he did not want to go, but Lin Tianjue still wanted to go. In the end he even betrayed him. This was a typical shameless villain. Chapter 288. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. They should be behind us. I followed the direction you went. Lin Tianjue and the people from the Thunder Rumbling sect should be heading in the direction of the Medicine Valley, Yu said. Let's go intercept them. We can't let them go to the Medicine Valley's entrance to the alternate dimension. Otherwise, it will be troublesome and bring danger to the others, Knight Sorrow said. But they have a lot of people. That Lei Bao has a cultivation of the 4th rank. Although Yu felt that Knight Sorrow's words made sense, she was worried that they wouldn't be a match for Lei Bao's group. I'll deal with Lei Bao. Can you hold off the others for a while? Knight Sorrow asked after thinking for a while. I need to recover. My injuries will affect my battle, Yu said apologetically. Take this. If you can't hold them off, throw it at them. When you do, use your true chi to break the cloth bag. Knight Sorrow gave the first simple poison stone he made to Yu. What's this? Yu looked at Knight Sorrow in confusion while holding the cloth bag. Poison stone. As long as it comes into contact with flesh, it will corrode the opponent's flesh and bones, Knight Sorrow said. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Yu's hand trembled. This inconspicuous bag of stones was too ruthless. Love go little say W, chew, then let's go find them now. Let's find their tracks first and then find an opportunity to make our move, Knight Sorrow said as he stood up. Knight Sorrow, my flying demonic beast has run out of energy. Yu glanced at his eagle trainer and said, Don't worry. You can ride on this. Knight Sorrow casually summoned the Tiger Hawk. Looking at the ferocious Tiger Hawk, Yu was shocked. You have 2 flying beasts? Yes, let's go. Saving the others is more important. Knight Sorrow flashed onto Tianyu's back. Seeing Yu also get on the Tiger Eagle's back, Knight Sorrow gave the order to fly because the Tiger Eagle wouldn't listen to Yu. Sitting on the back of the Tiger Eagle, Yu ate some food. Knight Sorrow also gave Yu some healing medicine. During battle, Yu had to contribute. Yu pointed in a direction looking for the path they came from. Knight Sorrow only knew how to identify the direction. He didn't really pay attention to the path. After chasing for 2 days, Knight Sorrow and Yu found some traces. They were the claw marks of several flying demonic beasts and some blood-stained medicinal cloths that had been thrown away. It shouldn't be wrong. They're not far ahead of us, Knight Sorrow said after looking at the marks on the ground. Knight Sorrow, what do you plan to do? How are you going to fight? Yu's priority was Knight Sorrow. Our priority is to save the others. The rest is secondary, Knight Sorrow said. There's another situation. Lin Tianjue's leg is broken and it's not easy to save him. However, if we don't save him, the location of the Medicine Valley's entrance will be exposed. Yu looked at Knight Sorrow and said. Then if there's a chance, we'll take care of him, Knight Sorrow said. Yu nodded. He also wanted to kill Lin Tianjue. After all, Lin Tianjue had betrayed the Medicine Valley, his senior and junior brothers, and his uncle master's elders. The 2 of them chased slowly while Yu recovered from his injuries. 1 day later Yu spoke, Knight Sorrow, I can fight now. That's good. After they set up camp at night, the 2 of us will take action. Your main task is to save the others, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow, you have to take care of your own safety. If you can't do it, retreat. This incident was caused by us, Yu said apologetically. Knight Sorrow shook his head. There's no use thinking about it now. When the time comes, throw the people you save onto the Tiger Eagles. Their safety will be guaranteed. At night, Night Sorrow and Yu sneaked to Lei Bao's camp. Gu Lin and two other disciples of the Medicine Valley sat together with their hands tied. Lin Qinjue was on the other side. Gu Lin and the others hated Lin Qinjue so much that they didn't want to sit with him. Around Gu Lin and the other two sat three disciples of the Thunder Clan. Beside Lin Qinjue was a disciple of the Thunder Clan and there was another tent. Night Sorrow and Yu knew that it was where Lei Bao and the other disciple were staying. Night Sorrow took out two sky-piercing spears and pointed to where Gu Lin and the others were. More. Tinu, 7 fastest. Yu nodded and took out his long sword. When Yu was ready, Night Sorrow made his move. The two sky-piercing spears shot towards the two disciples of the Thunder Clan who were guarding Gu Lin and the others. With a loud explosion, Night Sorrow's two sky-piercing spears killed the two disciples of the Thunder Clan. After releasing the Tiger Eagles, Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and charged towards the last disciple of the Thunder Clan who was guarding Gu Lin and the others. Now that there was no one around Gu Lin and the others, Gu Lin waved his long sword and cut the ropes binding them. He then threw them onto the back of the Tiger Eagles. After doing this, Yu charged towards the disciple of the Thunder Clan who was guarding Lin Tianjue. Ding! Night Sorrow's sure-kill spear attack towards the disciple of the Thunder Clan was blocked. Night Sorrow was forced back 2 steps while the disciple of the Thunder Clan was pulled behind a man. "You are Night Sorrow?" Lei Bao asked. It was Lei Bao who saved the disciple of the Thunder Clan. "Yes, I am." Night Sorrow looked at Lei Bao. Lei Bao's strength was very strong. The violent energy that was transmitted to Night Sorrow's hand made Night Sorrow somewhat uncomfortable. "Don't move. If you come any closer, I'll kill him." The other disciple of the Thunder Clan who was holding Lin Tianjue couldn't resist Yu's attack. He retreated a few steps and put his long sword on Lin Tianjue's neck. "Lei Jing, kill him and then come over." Lei Ming said to the disciple of the Thunder Clan who was holding Lin Tianjue. "You can't kill me?" Lin Tianjue's expression changed greatly as he shouted. "You are not the same as them. They don't want to talk. I didn't make things difficult for you guys in the Medicine Valley because I would do the same if it were me. But you are too unprincipled." Lei Bao waved his hand at Lei Jing. Lei Jing waved his sword and cut off Lin Tianjue's neck. Night Sorrow and Lei Bao looked at each other. On the other side, Yu also took back Night Sorrow's sky-piercing spear. "You are very brave. Then let's settle this in a man's way. If you win, you can take all of them in these. If you lose, you have to hand over what you got in the Lonely Peak." Lei Bao waved his hand and threw out the storage rings of Yu, Gu Lin and the others. "Good. If I knew you would settle this in this way, I wouldn't have killed them." Night Sorrow glanced at the corpses of the 2 people he had just killed and said, "This is the fate of practitioners. If you lose, I will avenge them. If I can't win, then I have fulfilled my responsibility as a fellow disciple." Lei Bao said, "Then come on." Night Sorrow waved his arm and twisted the reincarnation spear in his right hand. The blade of the spear made a soft sound, announcing the start of the battle. Chapter 289. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Lei Bao knew that if they were to fight, the result would not be good. There would be casualties among the disciples of the Thunder Clan. Love going little, say, W. Chu on Night Sorrow's side, he had already rescued the person, so he had nothing to worry about. If he wanted to leave, they might not be able to stop him. In addition, Lei Bao also wanted to fight fair and square. Night Sorrow's spear just now had made his fighting spirit boil. Brandishing the heavy sword in his hand, Lei Bao jumped up and slashed towards Night Sorrow. The tip of the heavy sword shot out half a foot long sword chi. This was the signature of a 4th-rank cultivator, the release of chi. 3rd-rank cultivators had Dan beads, so their chi was very condensed. 4th-rank cultivators could release their chi to form a protective chi, and it could also be used to attack. Seeing Lei Bao rushing towards him, Night Sorrow stabbed his spear towards Lei Bao. Ding! Their weapons collided. Night Sorrow took 2 steps back, and Lei Bao was also pushed back by Night Sorrow. One move, neither of them had the upper hand. Night Sorrow's shock force was cancelled out. Lei Bao also had a special technique, the explosive force. The shock force was cancelled out, but Night Sorrow's body was strong, so he did not lose out. Instead, he had the upper hand. The 2 of them did not move and looked at each other. It was the first time Night Sorrow met an opponent who could resist his shock force. Lei Bao was the same. He was shocked. His cultivation was 2 levels higher than Night Sorrow, and there was a gap of 1 level between them. Even with the explosive force he still could not gain the upper hand. After looking at each other, the two of them continued to fight. The sound of chi colliding could be heard continuously. Although Lei Bao was at a disadvantage because he was not as strong as Night Sorrow, his chi was strong enough to resist the shock force. He could still fight head-on with Night Sorrow. The battlefield between the two was constantly shifting. The thunderstorm sword technique was violent and exquisite. It could block Night Sorrow's wind-chasing spear technique, but if it wanted to block Night Sorrow's spear technique, it would be impossible for it to continue attacking. Thunderstorm was able to block it, but Night Sorrow continued to bombard it. He knew that Thunderstorm was consuming more energy than him. The battle between the two had attracted the attention of the disciples of the Thunder Rumbling clan and the Medicine Valley. This was simply not a battle of this level. It was too wild and overbearing. Lei Bao had the ability to fight above his level, and similarly Night Sorrow also had the ability to fight above his level. Just using the sword technique was not enough. Lei Bao used the heavy sword in his right hand to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Then he used his left hand to send a palm strike towards Night Sorrow. Lei Bao's palm attack was exactly what Night Sorrow wanted. Night Sorrow's left hand, which was wearing the azure claw glove, met Lei Bao's left hand. When he sent out the palm strike, an energy whirlpool with a diameter of 1.5 feet appeared on his hand. The night light was not good, and there were only a few piles of charcoal. When Lei Bao realized that something was wrong, it was already too late for him to withdraw his attack. He could only send all the chi in his body to his left hand to protect his left hand, and continue to attack. Bang! With a muffled sound, the two separated. Night Sorrow took 2 steps back, but Lei Bao did not. Lei Bao was directly sent flying by Night Sorrow's Vajra hand, which was infused with the energy of the myriad Tao Tome. After Lei Bao landed on the ground, his left hand was trembling, and his expression was extremely unnatural. Lei Bao was at a great disadvantage. 1/3 of his chi protection was shattered by Night Sorrow. Not only did he consume a lot of energy, the bones in his left hand were also shattered. After repelling Lei Bao with one move, Night Sorrow stomped his foot and charged towards Lei Bao. At this moment he did not consume a lot of energy so he could fight against Lei Bao. Although Lei Bao's left hand was injured and consumed a lot of energy, it did not affect his fighting strength. His violent sword art was still able to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear attack. However, he did not use his explosive force to attack, and instead used it to defend against Night Sorrow's shock force attack. It was impossible for Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear to rely on the shock force to repel Lei Bao's heavy sword. Seeing that Lei Bao used his explosive force to defend, Night Sorrow immediately changed the way he used his strength. He changed the shock force into the wave force. The wave force was not as ferocious as the shock force, but wave after wave of continuous bombardment made it even harder for Lei Bao to defend. After being bombarded by Night Sorrow's violent spear once again, Lei Bao retreated a few steps and waved his hand at the advancing Night Sorrow. If you only want to take them away, then you win. If you want to take revenge for him or have other thoughts, then I can only fight with my life. You can kill me, but you will have to pay a great price. Lei Bao glanced at Lin Qianjue's corpse and said, "He's not worth my revenge. I will save them." Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Lei Bao. He knew that Lei Bao was very magnanimous and would have a life-saving trump card. He was definitely not bluffing. Lei Jing, bury them. I, Lei Bao, am in the wrong for this matter. For the opportunity, I can only look for you like this. I am not your opponent, so the opportunity is yours. I will not have any more thoughts about it. Lei Bao said after putting away his heavy sword. AB latest chapter #Part 1, Magnanimous. I am very grateful that you did not make things difficult for them. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and threw it to Lei Bao. He appreciated people like Lei Bao who was straightforward and not hypocritical. Lei Bao took the wine jar, opened it and drank 2 mouthfuls. Not bad, good wine. I believe that we will have a chance to meet again. If you don't mind, we will be friends again. Good. Next time we meet, we will be friends. You pack up and leave. Night Sorrow nodded and then shouted to Yu. There is one more thing I need to tell you. The passage that your Medicine Valley used to enter here may have been exposed. Thunder Rumbling Clan and Red Cloud Clan are allies. Red Cloud Clan's Shangqiu asked him to draw a map and then took it away. Because we are allies, although I was not happy, I did not stop him. After all, your news was brought to me by Shangqiu. Lei Bao pointed at Lin Qianjue's corpse and said, "Some things are unavoidable. Thank you for reminding me." Night Sorrow cupped his fists at Lei Bao and then released Tianyu. He flashed to Tianyu's back and gave the order to the tiger eagle in the sky. On the other side, Yu had already received the resources from Gu Lin and the others and got on the back of her tiger trainer. After flying for 1,000 miles, Night Sorrow let Tianyu and the tiger eagle land. The night was still not safe. Demon beasts were rampant, and they would be in danger if they were not careful. After getting off the tiger trainer, Yu returned the storage rings, resources, and beast-taming crystals that Lei Bao had robbed from Gu Lin and the others. "Thank you for saving us, Martial Uncle." Gu Lin and the others bowed to Night Sorrow to express their gratitude. At the same time they felt guilty. If they had not gone to the Lonely Peak, none of this would have happened. "I am glad that Lin Qianjue was the only one who betrayed me. However, because of me you guys have to suffer," Night Sorrow said. "We did not suffer. The disciples of Thunder Rumbling Clan only tied us up and did not let us escape. They did not bully us. It was that scum Lin Qianjue who was often beaten up," Gu Lin said. "All of you should recuperate. We don't have time to continue looking for opportunities. If we return to the passageway too late, the other disciples of the Medicine Valley will be caught in the crossfire," Yishang said. Chapter 290. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Chapter = Section N, on %. The truth was obvious. When they first met Lei Bao and fought, Yu and Gu Lin attacked Lei Bao at the same time. After a few rounds they were injured by Lei Bao and were captured. Baidu search Love Go female sign Xiao Xiao at www.achux. So now Night Sorrow defeated the overbearing Lei Bao by himself. After feeding Tianyu and Tiger Eagle beast pills, Night Sorrow sat down to cultivate. Gu Lin and the others changed shifts. Everyone knew that it was not safe at night. After cultivating until the second half of the night, Night Sorrow realized that his true chi had reached a bottleneck. He had reached the peak of level 8 core formation and needed to advance. Looking at the sky, Night Sorrow called Gu Lin, who was on night duty. "I'm going into seclusion. Wait for me when the sun rises." After instructing Gu Lin, Night Sorrow asked Tianyu to guard him and went to break through. Baidu search Love Go female sign Xiao Xiao at www.achux. Gu Lin stayed outside to guard Night Sorrow. The sky soon brightened. Night Sorrow was also at the point of breaking through. The 9th energy halo was slowly forming. Gu Lin, Yu, and the others were on guard outside. They were extremely shocked. Night Sorrow had only been in the Medicine Valley for less than 2 years. He had already reached level 9 core formation. Which one of them had not cultivated for more than 10 years? After successfully breaking through, Night Sorrow stabilized his cultivation before ending his cultivation. After getting up, Night Sorrow looked at everyone. "If there's nothing else, let's set off. Return to the entrance and arrange for the others to prepare for an emergency." Love Go Xiao Shua Wuku, "Okay." Yu nodded and got on the back of the eagle trainer. The others also released their flying beasts. These people were all in the top 10 of the pill leaderboard. They all had flying beasts and were very strong. They were captured a while ago because they met the abnormal Lei Bao. "It's just that it delayed the search for resources," Gu Lin said regretfully. Night Sorrow glanced at Gu Lin and the others and said, "If you can't get the resources, then we'll just rob you. Anyone who comes near the entrance of the Medicine Valley has bad intentions. We'll just rob you directly." "Martial Uncle is so domineering." Gu Lin and the others laughed. Night Sorrow told Tianyu to ignore Yu's eagle training and began to meditate to stabilize his cultivation. In the following days the group sped up their journey. It was a long journey. Night Sorrow had taken more than a month to get here. Although he had wasted some time due to the pressure, it was impossible for him to return quickly. Night Sorrow cultivated on Tianyu's back during the day, but he was not idle at night either. After half a month, Night Sorrow's cultivation had increased a little. His bone-forging cultivation had also reached the peak of the 5th level. He had finished strengthening his chest and abdomen. As long as he strengthened his bone marrow, he would enter the 6th level of the bone-forging realm. When they set up camp at night, Night Sorrow purposely stayed away from the others. He had the Tiger Eagle stand guard outside. After Tianyu stayed close to him, he began to break through. Strengthening his bone marrow was a painful process, but Night Sorrow had already gotten used to it. However, he did not expect a situation to occur. Night Sorrow was in extreme pain. His body was trembling and his forehead was covered in sweat. His facial muscles were twitching uncontrollably. This was discovered by Yu, who was on night duty. Yu was shocked. He planned to wake Night Sorrow up. This kind of situation was usually caused by a heart demon. Just as Yu was about to wake Night Sorrow up, Tianyu could not take it anymore and began to attack. Facing Tianyu's attack, Yu retreated, not knowing what to do. Yu had no choice but to call Gulin and the others over. What should we do? If we forcefully wake him up, his martial uncle will be seriously injured. Perhaps he can survive, said Gulin. How can this be? He's just cultivating, not breaking through. How can there be a heart demon? Yu anxiously paced back and forth. Night Sorrow was still working hard to break through. As the most important part of his bone marrow was strengthened, the pain lessened and his external condition improved. Seeing this, Yu and the others relaxed. They did not know that if they really interrupted Night Sorrow, it would be troublesome. In the middle of the night, Yishang successfully raised the Myriad Dao Scriptures Bone Forging Realm cultivation level to the 6th level. Night Sorrow did not get up. He stabilized his cultivation until dawn. He took out a wine jar and drank 2 mouthfuls. "Martial uncle, are you all right?" asked Gulin as he walked over. "I'm fine. What could happen to me?" said Night Sorrow with a smile. He was in a good mood now that his cultivation had increased. "You encountered a heart demon last night. It's good that you can survive," said Gulin as he walked over. Yishang was stunned for a moment. He didn't know why everyone was looking at him strangely. "We wanted to wake you up, but Tianyu stopped us," said Gulin. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and understood that it was caused by his breakthrough last night. Fortunately, Tianyu stopped them. Otherwise it would be a big problem. "I was cultivating. If you interrupted me, it would be troublesome. Let's not talk about it. Let's go." Night Sorrow put away the tiger eagle and jumped onto Tianyu's back. Night Sorrow felt a lingering fear. If Tianyu hadn't been so strong and knew how to protect his master, he would have been tricked. His breakthrough would have been interrupted, and his vitality would have been greatly damaged. He didn't know how long it would take to recover. This time, something had almost happened. Night Sorrow decided to stay away from this group of people when breaking through in the future. It was too easy for something to happen. The following days were peaceful. There were monster attacks, but they were not strong. Yu, Gulin and the others took care of them. Half a month later, Yu forced a breakthrough. He knew that there might be a big battle at the space passage of the Medicine Valley. If he did not improve his strength, Night Sorrow could only fight alone. Night Sorrow was very happy that Yu broke through. Yu was not as strong as Lei Bao when he entered the 4th stage, but he could suppress the peak of core condensation. It was a month and a half later when they returned to the space passage. Night Sorrow, Yu and the others guarded the entrance of the passage. Gulin went out of the passage and reported the situation to the sect. After a while, Gulin came back. The Great Elder asked Night Sorrow to go out. Night Sorrow returned to the entrance through the space passage. At the entrance of the passage, the Great Elder and Lu Qin sat in the clouds. Disciple greets the Great Elder. Night Sorrow bowed to salute. Gulin said that after you go in, you will guard the entrance of the passage and let the others come back smoothly. If there is an opponent you can't resist, then come back immediately. Don't make unnecessary sacrifices. The Great Elder said. Remember, safety is the first. As long as you come out, no one will dare to chase after you. Lu Qinyun reminded Night Sorrow. After chatting with the Great Elder and Lu Qinyun for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the space passage again. He knew that dozens of people entered the Medicine Valley. Only a few people went out and most of them were still looking for opportunities inside. Days passed and most of the disciples of the Medicine Valley came back. 3 months have passed. It was the same to go back to the passage to look for opportunities. If they went too far and missed the return date, it would be troublesome. No one would take this risk. The disciples of the Medicine Valley who came back knew that Night Sorrow and Yu were guarding here. They were willing to share some of the harvest, but Night Sorrow refused and Yu did not accept. Chapter 291. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow explained the situation to Yu. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs.com. Yes, Lei Bao of the Thunder Rumbling sect won't come, but other people might come. The Red Cloud sect will definitely come. I don't know if the Holy Light sect and the Golden Flame sect have received the news. No matter which force knows the news, they need enough time to go back. Should we come up with a strategy? Yu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Avoid the edge? I've thought about it, but the disciples of the Medicine Valley are nearby. If we retreat, they will definitely search for us, and the disciples of the Medicine Valley will be killed. Night Sorrow said. Indeed. Gulin, go and ask the elders if they have any good ideas. Yu said to Gulin, asking him to ask for the elders' opinion. Gulin got up and left the passage. He went back and told the elders about the situation. Yu's cultivation was at the 4th stage, so he couldn't go out. The great elders' view was the same as Night Sorrow's. If they retreated, the scattered disciples of the Medicine Valley would be unlucky. The Medicine Valley couldn't abandon any of its disciples. The war finally came. 3 days after Night Sorrow's judgment, more than 40 people from the Red Cloud sect came. There were many disciples of the Red Cloud sect who entered the Void Fiend space, but they were scattered after entering. It was not easy to gather so many people in a limited time. Moreover, 3 of them broke through to the spirit-severing stage, which was an amazing ratio. This was the foundation of a super force that had been passed down for thousands of years. The more disciples there were, the more core condensation stage disciples there were. Hundreds of core condensation stage disciples could break through normally, and the proportion of disciples who broke through by force was high. Who is Night Sorrow? Hand over the resources we got this time and we will retreat. Otherwise, the disciples of the Medicine Valley will be unlucky. A man in brocade clothes walked at the front and said, I am Night Sorrow. I will take whatever moves you have. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and said, We've already given out all the resources, so you can just give up on it. If you want to fight, we'll play with you. Love Gon Little Seikuyu said coldly. If you don't send the resources in, then I'll kill you until you do. Remember, I'm Qi Xian of the Scarlet Cloud sect. Kill. When Qi Xian heard that Night Sorrow and the others had given out the resources, he immediately lost his mind and gave the order to kill. All of you stick together. If you can't hold on, just leave. Night Sorrow ignored Qi Xian. He executed the soaring dragon steps and circled around him. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, he charged toward the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. Night Sorrow wanted to stop killing with killing. If he were to fight with Qi Xian, the other disciples of the Red Cloud sect would surround and attack the disciples of the Medicine Valley. It would be a scene of devastation. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear, which had a strength of over 20,000 jin, shook off a Scarlet Cloud sect disciple's weapon. With a swing of the reincarnation spear, the disciple was beheaded. The second Scarlet Cloud sect disciple couldn't withstand Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. His weapon was broken and his head was chopped into pieces. Night Sorrow's continuous killing shocked Qi Xian and the other 2 spirit-severing stage Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. They didn't care about attacking Yu and the others and directly chased after Night Sorrow. If they ignored Night Sorrow, Qi Xian and the others could kill Yu and the others. However, if they did that, most of the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples would be killed by Night Sorrow. In the end, the loss outweighed the gain. Night Sorrow didn't fight with Qi Xian and the other 2 4th-stage Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. He executed the soaring dragon steps and killed the other Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. When Night Sorrow's energy and true Qi were fully unleashed, none of the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples could withstand 2 moves. They were all killed in the second move. After a few rounds, 7 or 8 people were killed by Night Sorrow. The Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples' faces changed. They had never seen such a ferocious core condensation cultivator. Qindong, you block the front. Zhonglia, you go to the side. Qi Xian's eyes were blood red. He chased after Night Sorrow. He hated Night Sorrow's ruthlessness. He didn't show any mercy and killed some of the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. Night Sorrow didn't want to fight them head-on. He turned around and continued to chase after the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. This time Night Sorrow was chasing after Shangqiu. He knew that Shangqiu was the one who caused all this trouble. Shangqiu already knew of Night Sorrow's tyranny, so he immediately ran. Night Sorrow pulled out the sky-piercing spear and threw it with all his might. It pierced through Shangqiu's waist and nailed him to a huge rock. After dodging Qindong's slash, Night Sorrow continued to chase after the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. At this time Yu and the others were no longer fighting. The Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples were in a mess because of Night Sorrow's pursuit. How could they have the energy to fight? They all ran to the side. Night Sorrow knew that the Scarlet Cloud sect had Scarlet Cloud needles. He didn't want to separate from the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples. He didn't want to give them a chance to use the needles unless they didn't distinguish between friend and foe. What Night Sorrow didn't know was that the Scarlet Cloud sect's Scarlet Cloud needles were extremely difficult to make. Only the true core disciples or disciples with great potential were qualified to use them. Currently, only Qi Xian and Qi Zhonglia were qualified to use them. After Night Sorrow killed 16 or 17 people, the Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples ran behind Qi Xian, Qi Zhonglia and Qin Dong. If they ran away they would be killed by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, Qi Xian, Qi Zhonglia and Qin Dong were facing each other. Qi Xian reached into his chest. Scarlet Cloud needles? I have one too. Night Sorrow took out the Scarlet Cloud needles he got last time. When Qi Xian touched his chest, Night Sorrow knew what he was going to do. How can you have Scarlet Cloud needles? Qi Xian's expression changed drastically. He looked at Night Sorrow in shock. Don't play dirty with me. Is Scarlet Cloud needles poisonous? Have you heard of bone rot poison? If you dare to use it, I won't hesitate to kill you, Night Sorrow said coldly. Qi Xian, Qin Dong and Qi Zhonglia looked at each other. Qi Xian took out his hand. Qi Xian held it out with his palm facing up so that Yishang could see it clearly. He knew Yishang's words were not a threat. If you dare to come, then I dare to kill. Unless I fall, I will kill a pair of Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples for every Medicine Valley disciple you kill. Night Sorrow put the Scarlet Cloud needles on his waist. Kill? When Night Sorrow put away the Scarlet Cloud needles, Qi Xian, Qin Dong, and Qi Zhonglia waved their weapons and charged at Night Sorrow. This was their chance to surround and kill Night Sorrow. E7 Forever XN Forever /FreeV Read_O novel. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. He stomped his feet and jumped into the air. He threw his spear at Qi Xian. Qi Xian's saber slashed horizontally at the reincarnation spear. He did not want to take it head-on. However, if he dodged, Night Sorrow would rush into the crowd of Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples and kill them like a tiger in a flock of sheep. Currently, other than the three of them, no one could stop Night Sorrow's attack. Seeing Qi Xian block with his saber, Night Sorrow increased his vibration force to the maximum. Then he activated his Black Jade Spirit Qi. He wanted to defeat Qi Xian. If Qi Xian blocked him, then he would be surrounded by Qi Xian, Qin Dong and Qi Zhonglia. The remaining Scarlet Cloud sect's disciples could then kill Yu and the others. Bang! With a muffled sound, Qi Xian's saber was knocked away. At the same time, his body was covered in a layer of frost. His eyes were filled with shock. Night Sorrow took a step forward and swung his spear at Qi Xian's neck. At the same time, his left hand slapped at Qin Dong's saber that was coming at his left shoulder. Chapter 292. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and slashed Qi Xian's throat, who was affected by the mysterious Jade Spirit Qi. His left hand also slapped Qin Dong's blade. At the same time, Qi Zhonglia's leg also kicked Night Sorrow's waist. Crisp and muffled sounds rang out continuously. Qin Dong's battle blade was blocked by Yishang's left hand that was wearing the azure claw glove. Qi Zhonglia's kick that landed on Yishang's abdomen seemed to have struck leather. Night Sorrow was pushed back 5 or 6 steps. He circulated the myriad Dao Tome's energy and the pain and discomfort from his abdomen disappeared. This was the power of the myriad Dao Tome. Night Sorrow's flesh, tendons and ribs were all abnormally strengthened. Qi Zhonglia's hurried kick did not cause any damage to Night Sorrow. Qi Xian fell. His eyes were filled with unwillingness. He was already in the 4th rank. His future should be very exciting. How could he die here? Qin Dong and Qi Zhonglia stood next to Qi Xian's corpse. Their eyes were filled with shock. Qi Xian was the strongest among the 3 of them. But now he was killed. What shocked them was that Night Sorrow, who was kicked, seemed to be fine. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow charged toward Qi Zhonglia. His reincarnation spear was like a dragon piercing toward Qi Zhonglia's chest. Qi Zhonglia's body flashed. He dodged to the side of Night Sorrow. His blade slashed toward Night Sorrow's left arm. At this time, Qi Zhonglia did not dare to take Night Sorrow's attack head-on. Qi Xian was an example. Using the soaring dragon steps, Night Sorrow dodged Qi Zhonglia's blade. His reincarnation spear was wide open. He waved his hand and smashed toward Qin Dong. Even Qi Zhonglia retreated. Of course, Qin Dong did not dare to take Night Sorrow's attack head-on. He was afraid that the situation with Qi Xian would happen again. That kind of strange cold air that could freeze people was fatal. After forcing Qin Dong and Qi Zhonglia back, Night Sorrow charged towards the Scarlet Cloud sect disciples behind them and continued his massacre. When Night Sorrow rushed in again, the disciples of the Scarlet Cloud sect quickly scattered like birds and beasts. They couldn't understand Night Sorrow's brutality. At this moment, Night Sorrow, whose white robes were stained with blood, was like a god of death. Whoever stood in his way would die. Qi Zhonglia and Qin Dong chased from behind as they shouted for the sect members to retreat. There was no victory to speak of in this battle. Night Sorrow turned around and stabbed his spear towards Qi Zhonglia. At the same time he shouted for Yu and the others to attack. Facing Night Sorrow's fierce spear, Qi Zhonglia's expression changed. He raised his sword to block. Ding! A crisp sound rang out. Qi Zhonglia's sword was knocked away by Night Sorrow. After knocking away Qi Zhonglia's sword, Night Sorrow swung his reincarnation spear towards Qin Dong, who was attacking from the side. At the same time his left hand slapped towards Qi Zhonglia's chest. Qi Zhonglia roared. His left hand punched towards Night Sorrow's left hand. He was afraid of Night Sorrow's spear techniques, but he was not afraid of fist techniques. The moment Qi Zhonglia punched, a faint red energy vortex appeared on Night Sorrow's left hand. Seeing Qi Zhonglia punch, Night Sorrow attacked with all his strength. He used Vajra hand. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. Everything below Qi Zhonglia's left arm disappeared. There was a huge gap between him and Lei Bao. Their true energy levels were not on the same level. He also did not have Lei Bao's battle experience. Therefore, when facing Night Sorrow's Vajra hand, Lei Bao was only slightly injured. Qi Zhonglia had lost an arm. After losing Qi Zhonglia's arm, Night Sorrow decided to first deal with the threat of Qin Dong and then kill Qi Zhonglia. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. When he looked at Qin Dong again, Night Sorrow was surprised. Qin Dong had stopped fighting. He turned around and ran. He actually abandoned Qi Zhonglia and ran. He also did not care about the other disciples who were being attacked by Yu and the others. He directly ran towards the forest in the distance. Love Gon Little Say, Network. Night Sorrow turned around and continued to violently attack with 3 spear attacks. He killed Qi Zhonglia, who had lost an arm. Qi Zhonglia died very sullenly. In the end he wanted to use Scarlet Cloud Needles, but he did not have the chance. Night Sorrow attacked again and again. His right hand was holding onto his sword to block, so he did not have the chance to use Scarlet Cloud Needles. After killing Qi Zhonglia, Yishang glanced at the battle situation. The Medicine Valley disciples led by Yu already had the absolute advantage. The main reason was that the Scarlet Cloud sect disciples had already lost their momentum after being killed by Yishang. At this moment Yishang felt powerless. After the battle began, Night Sorrow attacked with all his might. He always pursued the highest damage. Although he was not injured, he was very tired. Soon the battle was over. The Scarlet Cloud sect disciples all ran away. A crazy Night Sorrow was unbeatable to them. If Night Sorrow did not fall, then they had no chance of winning. The strongest Qi Xian and Qi Zhonglia had been killed. Qin Dong had run away. What could they, who had not reached rank 4, do? After the battle was over, Yu and the others cleaned up the battlefield. Then they came to Night Sorrow and placed 2 storage rings, a pile of beast-taming crystals, and some storage belts in front of Night Sorrow. Thank you. Yu bowed. He knew that without Night Sorrow, the Scarlet Cloud sect would have slaughtered the Medicine Valley disciples. Night Sorrow raised his head. You can divide them among yourselves. Martial uncle, are you all right? Seeing Night Sorrow's pale face, Gu Lin asked worriedly. I'm fine. I just used up a lot of energy. Night Sorrow waved his hand. Night Sorrow, actually I should call you junior brother. You earned these resources. We just shouted loudly and didn't do anything. You can keep them. Yu said. Yu's master was an elder of Wuwei Peak. He was from the same generation as Yu Yangyu. Since Yu joined the sect earlier than Night Sorrow, he was the senior brother. Senior brother Yu, distribute the spoils to everyone. Also, everyone should take the time to rest. This is only the Scarlet Cloud sect. We don't know if there will be other forces coming. If you feel that you can't hold on any longer, leave. The battle might have just begun, Yishan said. Yu looked at the resources at his feet and picked up a pile of storage belts. Let's divide these. Martial uncle, you must keep the rest. Night Sorrow nodded as he looked at the group of Medicine Valley disciples. Ah. If you follow Martial Uncle Yi, you'll be able to eat and drink well, Gu Lin said with a smile. Martial Uncle Knight, I'm sorry. Our Tianyue Peak has caused trouble for you. A Tianyue Peak disciple stepped forward. He was one of the people caught by Lei Bao. Lin Tianjue is Lin Tianjue. This has nothing to do with Tianyue Peak. You are a good disciple of Medicine Valley for staying and fighting. What's your name? Night Sorrow asked. Martial uncle, my name is Jianghan. Jianghan bowed. You know what happened. When you return, explain to Peak Master Jin and Senior Brother Luo Daoyuan that Lin Tianjue was killed by Lei Bao. Even if Lei Bao didn't kill him, I wouldn't have kept him alive. Night Sorrow said. I understand. Jianghan nodded and left. Chapter 293. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Xiao? We provide you with interesting novels to read. On the other side, EU asked Gu Lin to report the battle to the Great Elder. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs. So after Gu Lin returned, he informed Night Sorrow, the Great Elder, the Valley Master, and the others to let Night Sorrow go out. Night Sorrow didn't have time to change his clothes, so he didn't care about etiquette. He walked out of the passageway in his blood-stained battle robe. Many people gathered at the passageway. Jianghu and the people from Taishan Peak were all there. Night Sorrow, are you hurt? Sikong Chuyu ran to Night Sorrow and held his hand, looking him up and down nervously. No, it's all other people's blood, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Are you really okay? Yang Lei also walked to Night Sorrow and asked. Ninth Senior Sister, I'm really okay. Night Sorrow turned his body to show Yang Lei that he wasn't hurt. 13. Can you still hold on? If you can't, then retreat. There aren't many disciples from Medicine Valley who haven't returned, the Great Elder said. Not bad. You've done very well. You can choose to come back, Jianghu said. There are still disciples from Medicine Valley who haven't returned. If we retreat, we'll be abandoning them. They'll be disappointed, Night Sorrow said. Jianghu, the Great Elder, and the others nodded. They all knew that Night Sorrow and the others were abandoning some disciples if they retreated. Ninth Senior Sister, here are some beast-taming crystals. Take them back and distribute them to the disciples of Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow took out a handful of beast-taming crystals. There were at least 20 of them and he gave them to Yang Lei. Okay. Yang Lei was not pretentious. She knew that Night Sorrow did not need this. Chuyu, don't worry. I'm fine. Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu, whose eyes were filled with worry. Then go. I'll wait for you here. Sikong Chuyu nodded. Night Sorrow nodded and returned to the spatial tunnel. With a core condensation cultivation base, he killed 2 severed divinity cultivators and more than 20 late core condensation cultivators. This battle record will forever be recorded in the annals of history. Yi Xiling from Crepe Myrtle said. Her eyes were filled with regret because Night Sorrow was not a disciple of Crepe Myrtle. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs. The other Peak Masters who arrived also looked at Gong Xian and Yang Lei with envy. After returning to the void space, Night Sorrow looked at the female disciples of Crepe Myrtle and rode Tianyu to find a water source to wash up. After changing into a clean robe, he went to the entrance of the spatial tunnel. The entrance of the spatial tunnel was very lively. Some people were roasting prey, some people even took out wine. Seeing Night Sorrow come back, everyone greeted him. Night Sorrow nodded and found a place to sit down. Next, there will be a month of danger. Red Cloud Sect was the first to receive the news. They can gather some disciples. The other sects will receive the news later and come to find trouble with us. Plus, they might not have enough time to go back. If they don't gather enough people, they won't dare to block our path. EU said. In other words, if we guard this place for another month and there are no problems, then there will be no problems at all? Jianghan asked. That should be the case. Night Sorrow nodded and took the roasted meat from a female disciple of Crepe Myrtle. After eating and drinking except for those on duty, everyone sat down to cultivate. Night Sorrow checked Qi Zhonglia and Qi Xian's storage rings and found that their collection was quite rich. There were also some new resources, spiritual herbs and 2 red cloud needles. Qi Xian's storage ring also had a green Oregon. Night Sorrow could feel that this or was not simple, but there was no such or in the Fey encyclopedia. After tidying up his things, Yi Shang sat down to cultivate. Time passed slowly, and some of the disciples of Medicine Valley also returned. When they found out that Night Sorrow and the others were guarding the path and had a big battle with the Red Cloud Sect, they were willing to share some of their loot, but no one took it. 5 days later, the disciples of the Thunder Rumbling Sect came. It was a man in black with less than 20 people. Wait. Seeing that the disciples of Medicine Valley were about to fight, the leading man in black waved his hand. What do you want to say? Night Sorrow took 2 steps forward with the reincarnation spear. If we fight as a group, both sides will suffer. It won't be good for either side. You should be Night Sorrow. I heard that you killed Qi Xian and Qi Zhonglia from the Red Cloud sect. Let's fight one-on-one. The man in black looked at Night Sorrow and said, Sure. I want to ask, where did you get the news? Night Sorrow asked. The man in black glanced at the disciples of Medicine Valley who were full of fighting spirit and said, Someone from the same sect. You also met the disciples of the Red Cloud sect. It seems like you are prepared. If you want to fight with me, then there should be a bet. Say it. Night Sorrow waved the reincarnation spear and said. He felt that the people of the Thunder Rumbling sect were overbearing, but they were very direct. Lei Bao was like that, and so was this young man in black. I heard that you got a treasure on the Lonely Peak. This is an opportunity. However, the opportunity is in your hands now. If you lose, take out half of the opportunity and I will leave. If I lose, then. I have never thought about it. The man in black hesitated and said. If you lose, you can leave. In addition, if you meet the disciples of the Medicine Valley in this space, don't make it difficult for them. Night Sorrow said. Okay. My name is Lei Zheng. I won't take advantage of you. This Tranquil Heart Stone and my Thunderbird mount are yours if you win. Also listen carefully. If I, Lei Zheng, lose in this space, if you see the disciples of the Medicine Valley, you must stay away. The young man in black, who was Lei Zheng, waved the broadsword in his hand and said. Night Sorrow waved his hand and asked the disciples of the Medicine Valley to retreat. Then he gestured to Lei Zheng. Lei Zheng leaped up and waved the broadsword in his right hand, facing Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow understood that the disciples of the Thunder Rumbling sect fought in a direct confrontation. Their weapons were also broadswords and heavy swords. Without hesitation, Night Sorrow thrust his reincarnation spear forward. At the same time, he also used the vibration force. Ding. When the weapons collided, Night Sorrow retreated 2 steps while Lei Zheng retreated 4 to 5 steps. Night Sorrow squinted his eyes and looked at Lei Zheng. He realized that Lei Zheng's true qi exerting method was different from Lei Bao's. It was a technique that was soft first and then violent. Very strong. Again. Lei Zheng glanced at Night Sorrow and attacked again. Night Sorrow used the vibration force and waved his reincarnation spear to attack. Every time he attacked, he would force Lei Ming to retreat a few steps, completely suppressing him. The two of them attacked each other, one advancing and one retreating. Although Lei Zheng couldn't restrain Night Sorrow's vibration force, Night Sorrow couldn't defeat Lei Zheng with the vibration force. Watch my purple thunder sword art. Lei Zheng roared. Purple energy appeared on his broadsword and slashed towards Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Knowing that this was Lei Zheng's ultimate move, Night Sorrow instantly activated the profound jade spirit chi hidden in his hands. Bang! When the weapons collided, Night Sorrow retreated 4 steps. His arms were numb as if he was struck by lightning. Lei Zheng was in an even worse state. His entire body was covered in frost. Night Sorrow's bone-forging realm level 6 energy burst forth from the myriad Dao Tome. After dispelling the numbness, he used the soaring dragon steps and instantly rushed in front of Lei Zheng. Before Lei Zheng could react, the reincarnation spear was placed on his neck. I lost. Lei Ming said as he wiped the frost off his hair and face. X forever free. Read * novel *. Just like Lei Bao, you are a real man. You can afford to lose. Night Sorrow said as he retreated a few steps. Chapter 294. Genius remembers love in 1 second / small? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Why do you say that? Night Sorrow was a little puzzled. I'm not Brother Bao's opponent. Knowing that you defeated Brother Bao, I won't come. The news is really deceiving. Lei Zheng was depressed. Ignoring the value of the Tranquil Heart Stone, he couldn't bear to part with his Thunderbird. The Thunderbird was an intelligent flying beast at the peak of the 3rd rank. Most importantly, it had been with him for a long time. You didn't ask me. Yishang was speechless. This disciple of the Thunder Rumbling sect was really straightforward. Lei Zheng took out the beast-taming crystal. His eyes were full of reluctance, but he still put it beside the Tranquil Heart Stone and took a few steps back. It's all yours. Night Sorrow stepped forward and put away the Tranquil Heart Stone. After looking at the beast-taming crystal for a while, he threw it to Lei Zheng, whose eyes never left the crystal. I told Lei Bao that we will be friends when we meet again. You call him Brother Bao, so it's obviously not nice of me to take you as my mount. After catching the beast-taming crystal, Lei Zheng's face was full of joy. We will also be friends in the future. As long as you, Night Sorrow, come to the Thunder Clan, you will be my most distinguished guest. Okay, if you come to the Medicine Valley, don't forget to look for me. I will treat you with good wine and meat. Night Sorrow nodded. Lei Zheng cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow and then turned around. Brothers, let's go. We can't beat them and almost suffered a double loss. Let's go take care of others. The Thunder Rumbling Sect's disciples followed Lei Zheng. Some of them even cupped their hands towards Yishang. Damn, the Thunder Clan disciples are too cute. Lei Zheng is so handsome. He's a real man. Crepe Myrtle disciple Li Lin said. This is because we have strength. If we don't have strength, we will be bullied to death. Handsome real man? That depends on Martial Uncle Yi. Gu Lin said. But I heard that Martial Uncle Night Sorrow already has someone in his heart. Even Martial Uncle Lin Jingyi doesn't have a chance. Li Lin glanced at Night Sorrow and said. The dispute between Night Sorrow and Crepe Myrtle was no longer a secret. Everyone in Medicine Valley knew about it. Gu Lin shook his head helplessly. He could not answer this question. In the following days, the entrance of Medicine Valley was quiet. What Night Sorrow did not know was that Lei Zheng had helped him fend off a wave of enemies. When Lei Zheng and the others were some distance away from the entrance of the Medicine Valley, they met a group of disciples of the Golden Flame sect, led by Su Wang and Su Yuan, who were approaching the entrance of the Medicine Valley. With one look, Lei Zheng knew what was going on. Love Gong Little Sake, thinking that Night Sorrow did not want his Thunderbird, Lei Zheng decided to do Night Sorrow a favor. He directly defeated Su Wang and the others, severely injuring the disciples of the Golden Flame sect. Lei Zheng lost to Night Sorrow because his dual polarity force was restrained by Night Sorrow's vibration scripture. However, it was not a problem for him to deal with Su Wang and the others. The disciples of the Thunder Clan were also very united and had strong combat power. After a chaotic battle, Lei Zheng severely injured Su Wang and forced him to retreat. He also confiscated the resources of the disciples of the Golden Flame sect. Haha, a person should be loyal. Good intentions will be rewarded. After the brothers divide, let's continue to rob. There will be a lot of fat sheep coming to the Medicine Valley. Lei Zheng was in a particularly good mood. Brother Zheng, speaking of which, we have to thank Lei Zheng. If he didn't tell us this news, we wouldn't know what happened here, a disciple of the Thunder Clan said. Bullsh *T. This time I was almost killed by him. He knew that Brother Bao was defeated, but he still made this news. Isn't he trying to scam me? But it's also true. If he said it, Brother Bao would lose face. Let's not talk about it. Let's continue to look for fat sheep. Lei Zheng was in high spirits. The income from robbing was much better than looking for resources by himself. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. After quietly waiting at the entrance of the passage for a month without any battles, Night Sorrow EU and the others discussed and decided that there was no need for them to stay here any longer. They could do whatever they needed to do because the people from the other regions wouldn't come over anymore. That way they wouldn't have enough time to return. Many people had gone to look for resources. Night Sorrow pondered for a while before leaving the void fiendish space. He did not want to waste any more time. He did not believe that there would be any great opportunities. After all, even the space origin pearl was in his dantian. Even if there were opportunities left, they would be small opportunities. Only a few disciples of the Medicine Valley chose to go out. The others still had to look for opportunities. Sucked knowing that Night Sorrow didn't want to stay in the void fiendish space any longer, the first elder was a bit unwilling. They had survived the danger and there was no more danger, but Night Sorrow still wanted to come out. Great Elder, this depends on the individual's wishes. If 13 is unwilling, then don't force him. He also needs to prepare to advance to the spirit-severing stage. Lu Qinyun said with a smile. He was extremely satisfied with Night Sorrow's performance this time because Night Sorrow had fought to the end for the disciples of the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow took out the green ore he had stolen from Qi Xian and gave it to Big Elder Yu Yangyu and the others to identify. The higher-ups present all looked at it, but they couldn't recognize what ore it was. However, they all felt that it wasn't normal. Then Night Sorrow, Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu left. The relationship between the three of them was not a secret in the Medicine Valley. Many people were envious of them. There was no need to talk about Sikong Chiyu. She was agile and refined like a fairy. It was fate that brought Sikong Chiyu and Yi Shang together. No one could be envious of them. But what about Yang Lei? She was the one that many second-generation disciples of the Medicine Valley had been thinking about. Unexpectedly, Night Sorrow also got her. This was puzzling. Great Elder, what do you think of Lin Tianjue? After Night Sorrow left, Jianghu looked at Big Elder. This is the fault of Tianyue Peak's Elder Lin and Luo Daoyuan. But he is already dead, so forget it. Big Elder sighed with some disappointment. This time, Lin Tianjue really made the Medicine Valley lose face and almost brought a disaster to the disciples of the Medicine Valley in the alternate dimension. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow's efforts to turn the tide, the Medicine Valley would have suffered heavy losses. It could even be said that there would be a generation gap. If all the outstanding disciples of the core condensation realm were killed, then the Medicine Valley would have lost a generation in the future. I won't pursue this matter. Tell Tianyue Peak's Elder Lin, Luo Daoyuan, and the others that if anyone dares to vent their anger on Night Sorrow because of Lin Tianjue, I won't be lenient. Jianghu said and left. Gong Xin looked at Big Elder and Fourth Elder, then left with the people of Taishan Peak. The Valley Master's temper has become more restrained. This is the blessing of Tianyue Peak. Big Elder, you should arrange it well. If Elder Lin, Peak Master Jin or Luo Daoyuan do anything bad, then it will be a big trouble for the Medicine Valley. At that time, even if the Valley Master doesn't say anything, the Taishan Peak won't let it go. Lu Qinyun said. Then, Fourth Elder and the other elders will look after this place. I will go to Tianyue Peak. Big Elder said to the others, then got up and left. This matter was very big. Jianghu showed mercy. As the Big Elder, he had to deal with it well. Otherwise, this matter would be the fuse for the outbreak of conflicts. When Big Elder arrived at Tianyue Peak, he saw Jin Kan and two other elders of Tianyue Peak in the Tianyue Hall. Seeing the arrival of Big Elder, Jin Kan and the others all got up and saluted, then let Big Elder sit in the main seat. As the Big Elder, I have something to deal with. Invite Elder Lin and Luo Daoyuan here. Big Elder sat down and said while tapping his crutch on the ground. Chapter 295. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? Show.net provides you with wonderful novels to read. #C, the only version #his, xm. All, pirated, what do you mean? Don't you know your mistake? The Great Elder tapped the ground with his walking stick. Suddenly, a spider web appeared on the hard stone floor of the Tianyue Hall. It was obvious that the Great Elder was angry. Great Elder, please don't misunderstand. Elder Lin felt guilty towards the sect and went to the Cliff of Reflection to reflect. Luo Daoyuan also wanted to go there, but I didn't agree because there were still many things to deal with in the Tianyue Peak. Jin Kan quickly explained. Let's not talk about Elder Lin. It's good that Luo Daoyuan has such thoughts. It shows that he knows his mistake, so I won't pursue it. If the Tianyue Peak makes things difficult for Night Sorrow because of Lin Tianjue, you know the consequences. At that time, no one will be able to stop the Valley Master's anger. The Great Elder said. Great Elder, don't worry. Everyone knows that Lin Tianjue deserved to die. No one blamed Night Sorrow. In fact, we are grateful that he saved the other Tianyue Peak disciples. Jin Kan bowed. It's good that you know. I'm just reminding you. The Great Elder stood up and left the Tianyue Hall. He felt a little better after seeing the Tianyue Peak's attitude. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu returned to the Bamboo Forest Peak. Sikong Chuyu brewed a pot of tea after returning to the Bamboo Forest Peak. You must be tired out during this period of time. No, I just fought a few battles. However, I also gained a lot. Some problems can also be solved. Night Sorrow said. He was talking about the Origin Stone. Night Sorrow then took out his gains and organized them. Seeing Night Sorrow take out several storage rings, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were shocked. They knew that this was the result of Night Sorrow's robbery. Ninth senior sister, who else doesn't have a storage ring? Night Sorrow asked. Eldest senior brother, second senior brother, and third senior brother have it. Sixth senior sister and I also have it. The others don't have it, Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow took out the two he had stolen from Lone Peak, the two he had taken from Qi Xian and Qi Zhonglie, and Su Chenbai's storage ring. Of course he took out all his resources. Here are 5 storage rings. I'll send them to the other senior brothers later, Night Sorrow said. You rascal, keep one for yourself. Otherwise, you won't have enough in case of an emergency, Yang Lei said. I still have more. Night Sorrow smiled. He had Feng Chen's storage ring and Lu Shan's. Both of their storage rings had a lot of space, much more than the storage rings they had robbed. Night Sorrow organized the spirit herbs, spirit medicines, and ores. Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu were dazzled. There were too many level 4 and level 5 spirit herbs. There were even level 6 spirit herbs. There were also many rare ores. 13, you're rich this time. Yang Lei was so excited that her face turned red. Ninth senior sister, these aren't my biggest gains. The three of us are going to be a family in the future. Let me show you the real gains. Night Sorrow took out the top-grade spirit stones and high-grade spirit stones. The bamboo building's living room was filled with the light of crystals. There were hundreds of top-grade spirit stones and thousands of high-grade spirit stones. How is this possible? Yang Lei was a little confused. Even the super forces might not have so many in stock. Night Sorrow, you have too much capital. Sikong Chiyu was also astonished when he saw the crystals. You too, quickly keep some of them. Both of you have advanced to the 5th grade. You can use high-grade spirit stones to cultivate. Night Sorrow urged Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu. Alright. Will be yours sooner or later. Just take it as a betrothal gift. Yang Lei blushed and took 100 high-grade spirit stones. Sikong Chiyu also felt a little embarrassed after hearing Yang Lei's words. However, he also took 100 high-grade spirit stones. She had advanced to the 5th grade a month ago and was currently the youngest Void Inquiry stage cultivator in this area. Night Sorrow kept the remaining spirit stones into his storage ring. Come, let's admire some good stuff. I'll share some with you. Night Sorrow took out the spiritual spring liquid and opened the jar. This is much denser than the spiritual liquid in the medicinal cauldron. He actually used a wine jar to store it? Yang Lei was a little speechless. Night Sorrow's actions had subverted her beliefs. Store some for each of you. Tomorrow give some to senior brothers and sisters too. Night Sorrow said. You have to keep enough for yourself. Just give some to each of you. Yang Lei was thinking for Night Sorrow's sake. She also helped Night Sorrow to store more than 10 small bottles of origin spiritual liquid. After that, Night Sorrow gave Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu 2 bottles each. Ninth senior sister, Chiyu, if you need any spirit stones or spiritual liquid in the future, just call me. Night Sorrow filled a few small bottles of origin spiritual liquid as backup. Only then did he keep the remaining half of the jar. He still had another full jar. We won't stand on ceremony with you. When we have time, we'll get a jade jar to store it. Yang Lei said. I have something else to ask you. Do you know what attributes there are in heaven and earth? Night Sorrow asked. Earth, water, wind, fire, lightning, light, and darkness. These are the 7 most common attributes. The rare and high-grade attributes are life, death, space, and time. The top-grade attributes are destruction, void, and so on. Of course, there is a possibility for the attributes to evolve. The earth attribute can evolve into gravity and space. If it continues to evolve, it will become the space attribute. The water attribute can evolve into the life attribute, while the darkness attribute can evolve into the death attribute. These are all recorded in the ancient books. Sikong Chiyu said. I obtained an origin stone this time. Ninth senior sister doesn't have one that matches your attribute. Chiyu has one that matches your attribute, but I can't give it to you for the time being. I promised someone that I would lend it to them for a period of time. Night Sorrow said. What did you say? You obtained an origin stone? Sikong Chiyu wasn't the only one who stood up. Yang Lei was also excited. Sit down. Sit down. Night Sorrow pushed Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu into chairs. Then he took out the fire and water attribute origin stones. When he opened the jade box, a rich energy fluctuation was produced. Sikong Chiyu reached out and closed the box. Night Sorrow, this is a great opportunity, but it's also a disaster. If this were to spread, it would cause a chaotic war in the 9 regions. This is because source stones are the best medium for venerables to break through to the Saint Realm. I know. I will only tell the 2 of you. Night Sorrow said. Who do you want to lend the origin stone to? Sikong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. First of all, it is a senior from the Ice Snow Mountain in the Far East Icefield. I promised her. She said that she would only lend it to me. In addition, she is willing to give me a spirit weapon as the price. I don't care about the spirit weapon, but since I promised her, I will do my best. Night Sorrow said. A peerless expert from a forbidden land. It seems that the rumors are not true. Such a person wouldn't kill for the treasure. Sikong Chiyu nodded. Chapter 296. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That shouldn't be a problem either. Sikong Chiyu said to Yishan. Let's go, said Sikong Chiyu to Yishan. Let's not talk about the fire-type origin stone for now. There is another piece. Take a look at its attribute. Night Sorrow put away the fire-type origin stone. He then brought out the killing energy origin bead. When the box was opened, a dense baleful aura and blood-red energy appeared in the bamboo building. After Sikong Chiyu and Yang Lei felt it, Sikong Chiyu reached out and closed the box. This is beyond the concept of origin stones. Could it be spatial origin? Sikong Chiyu was a little surprised as he looked at Night Sorrow in disbelief. Most are new chapter E above. That's right. It's one of the space origins, but I don't know what attribute it is, Night Sorrow said. There is a trace of destructive aura mixed with a very strong baleful aura. Could it be that you have entered a space of destruction? Sikong Chiyu said with some uncertainty. She had read a lot of classics and was better than Yang Lei in this aspect. It's not the destruction space. In fact, this isn't the real space origin. It's just a subsidiary. The real space origin is with me. Night Sorrow smiled bitterly and pointed at his stomach. What do you mean? Yang Lei asked. Night Sorrow then told him what happened after he went to Lonely Peak. You're taking too much risk. Fortunately, such supreme treasures have their own spirituality. If you are not the chosen one, you will not be able to obtain the space origin. A single energy attack from the space origin can destroy you, the Sikong Chiyu said. Chiyu, do you mean that the void space origin bead will not harm 13? Yang Lei asked worriedly. If you want to hurt him, you should have blown up Night Sorrow back then. Entering his body is also a form of recognition, Sikong Chiyu said. Then it's fine. However, I don't feel that its existence is of any help to me, Night Sorrow said. You currently don't have the ability to recognize a master. If you can, then you will be the master of that space, the master of that space. On the day you truly control the space origin bead, the entire space will be your private territory. Sikong Chiyu threw out words that shocked Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu. Is it that serious? Yang Lei couldn't believe her ears. Of course. So, don't mention this matter in the future. Just pretend that it never happened. Night Sorrow, the treasures on you now are enough for the experts of the 9 zones to kill you hundreds of times. Sikong Chiyu said. Then it's settled. 13. Don't tell anyone about the origin bead and origin stone. Don't even tell Master and the Great Elder. After all, they are still far away from the Sage Realm. Yang Lei made the decision for Night Sorrow. All right. I'll listen to everything you say. Night Sorrow nodded. After packing up, the 3 of them slowly drank tea. 13. You scared me to death. I can't even calm down now, Yang Lei said as she patted her chest. Indeed, Night Sorrow, the things you got this time are truly frightening. My heart is also thumping. Love go little say, Sikong Chiyu said. It's a water origin stone. I'll give it to Chiyu after I finish using it. Ninth senior sister, I'm sorry about this, Night Sorrow said apologetically. What are you saying, you bastard? Aren't we family? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow grumpily. After eating, the 3 of them rested. Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu didn't let Night Sorrow continue cultivating. They watched Night Sorrow sleep. The next day, Mo Chin and Chu Lingfei came to call Night Sorrow because the senior brothers and sisters were going to have a gathering. Night Sorrow, Chu Lingfei followed Mo Chin to the Bamboo Grove. Always Bamboo Grove was the gathering place for Yu Yangyu's disciples on Taishan Peak. This time, everyone was present. Alway also took out the green carrot leopard bone wine. After drinking the wine, Night Sorrow took out the gifts he had prepared for his senior brothers and sisters. Each of them received a bottle of spiritual liquid of origin and 10 top-grade spirit stones. 13. You're rich. Mo Chin said as he opened the bottle of spiritual liquid of origin. I forgot about Sister Lingfei's share. 10 top-grade spirit stones. Second senior brother, 8th senior brother, and sister-in-law all have a share. Night Sorrow pushed the 10 top-grade spirit stones in front of Chu Lingfei. Then he took out 20 top-grade spirit stones and handed them to Wu Qi and Shi Tianlin. Other than the newly married Mo Chin, only Wu Qi and Shi Tianlin were married among Yu Yangyu's disciples. However, their wives didn't attend the gathering. After Mo Chin got married, he and Chu Lingfei lived together, so he came to the gathering. 9th junior sister, you have to keep an eye on 13. How many resources do you have to squander like this? Gong Xian looked at Yang Lei and said. This was decided by the 3 of us. Yang Lei said with a smile. As for the other things, Night Sorrow didn't tell everyone. Yang Lei also didn't let Night Sorrow talk about the elixirs. Although Aoi was studying alchemy, it wasn't appropriate to give it to Aoi. After the gathering, Night Sorrow said goodbye to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and went to Danding Cliff to cultivate. He was now at the middle stage of the 9th level of the core condensation realm. He wanted to raise his cultivation to the peak of the core condensation realm and then stabilize his cultivation to prepare for entering the spirit severing realm. The higher the cultivation level, the more energy was needed to raise the cultivation level. This was also the reason why it was difficult for high-level cultivators to raise their cultivation level. Night Sorrow rushed to 5,800 meters before he felt that the pressure was suitable for him. He could still continue, but he didn't think it was necessary. This place was very suitable for cultivating. Time slipped away bit by bit. Night Sorrow's cultivation level rapidly increased. He didn't know that the Eastern Profound Domain now knew the name Night Sorrow. As the people who entered the void fiendish space left, Night Sorrow's deeds and achievements spread. The Scarlet Cloud sect was the most infuriated because too many of their disciples had died at Yishang's hands. Qi Xian and Qi Zhonglia were direct disciples of the Scarlet Cloud sect. They had great potential and were worth cultivating. However, they were killed by Night Sorrow. In addition, Night Sorrow also killed more than 20 disciples at the peak of the core condensation realm. They were all good seedlings of this generation of the Scarlet Cloud sect. Night Sorrow's deeds were not only spread to the Scarlet Cloud sect, but also to the Holy Light Temple and the Southern Dipper sect. Although they didn't have any contact with Night Sorrow, they had fought with the people of the Scarlet Cloud sect and the Thunder Rumbling sect. Some of them even became friends. Naturally, they knew this news. The 7 superpowers of the Eastern Profound Domain also knew that the Medicine Valley of the Golden Flame sect was the biggest winner in the opening of the alternate space. A young man named Night Sorrow was the biggest winner. At the same time, they also knew about Night Sorrow's greatness. He fought against 3 severed divinity stage and dozens of core condensation realm cultivators alone. He killed 2 severed divinity stage cultivators and more than 20 peak core condensation realm cultivators. No one could surpass this record. On the top floor of the Tianji Tower in the Eastern Profound City, several people sat together and chatted. Supervisor Lan, Night Sorrow is not bad, right? He challenged dozens of people alone, killed 2 severed divinity stage cultivators, killed 1, and more than 20 core condensation realm cultivators. Isn't he worthy of the 2 stars? Lei Hua said with a smile. Chapter 297. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What if he enters the divinity severing stage? Should we report it to the higher-ups directly? Inshua asked. If he can enter the divinity severing stage in 2 years, report it to the higher-ups. Such a talent can no longer be measured by ordinary standards. Focus on protecting him. This is an opportunity for your Eastern Profound Domain branch to gain face, Lan Yushuan said. Okay, this guy should have no problem entering the divinity severing stage in 2 years, Lei Hua said. He had confidence in Night Sorrow. In addition, I'm going to the Medicine Valley, Lan Yushuan said. Then I'll accompany you there, Yin Shui said. Okay, if there are some things that have good results, I need your cooperation. Lan Yushuan nodded. Night Sorrow stayed at Danding Cliff and cultivated for more than 20 days. He raised his cultivation to the peak of the core formation stage before leaving Danding Cliff and returning to the bamboo forest peak. Yishang's cultivation was already saturated. What he needed now was to stabilize his cultivation and increase the cultivation of the Myriad Tao Treasured Tome. Currently, he still had a lot of dragon bone forging pills, enough for him to reach the 4th stage of the Myriad Tao Treasured Tome, the Consolidation Realm. Night Sorrow's days were very free and easy. His relationship with Yang Lei and Sikong Chu was also warming up. Love go little Seiko forever. Long time % free to read 6Y novels. Disciples of the Medicine Valley often came to drink with Night Sorrow. In the past it was only the Yuan roll. Now both the Yuan roll and the elixir roll came. Night Sorrow didn't look down on anyone just because his cultivation was high. He thought that people who hit it off were friends. Night Sorrow took time to visit Qinzhen. He left Tiger Eagle in Qinzhen and left his remaining medicinal cauldron spiritual liquid to Qinzhen. Qinzhen also worked hard. His cultivation had reached the peak of the 8th level of the gathering element and he had entered the top 20 of the Yuan roll. Nothing much happened. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu returned to Danding City. He did not go to Tianji Tower. If Tianji Tower hadn't asked, Night Sorrow wouldn't have lent the water origin stone to Tianji Tower. However, things were different from what he thought. On the third day after Night Sorrow returned to the Dragon Spring Courtyard, Enforcer Dong came to the Dragon Spring Courtyard and said that someone wanted to see him. Night Sorrow immediately knew what was going on. It was either Lan Yuxuan or Yin Shui. Night Sorrow couldn't refuse such a meeting, so he directly followed Enforcer Dong to Tianji Tower. In the room on the top floor of Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow saw Lan Yuxuan wearing a silver mask and Yin Shui taking off her mask. "Sit down. Let's have a chat," Lan Yuxuan said. Yishang nodded and sat down opposite the two of them. At the peak of the core condensation stage, your body's qi and blood are at the peak. If you can continue to improve, it won't take long for you to reach the level of essence qi smoke. In the 9 regions, there are people who cultivate their body, but their true qi attainment is not high. Only those who are over 100 years old can reach the level of essence qi smoke, and it's very rare. Yin Shui said. "Thank you for your praise, Chief Enforcer. This is also the reason why Tianji Tower is cultivating me," Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow casually chatted with Yin Shui, not talking about the alternate dimension. After half a quarter of an hour, Yin Shui looked at Lan Yuxuan helplessly. Because they didn't mention it, Night Sorrow didn't want to talk about it. Lan Yuxuan coughed twice. "You have a good harvest in the alternate dimension, right? It's not bad. It's not easy to snatch food from the tiger's mouth and fight with the Thunder Rumbling sect and Red Cloud sect." Night Sorrow said with a smile. "What about the Heaven's Mandate Stone?" Lan Yuxuan asked. She could see that Night Sorrow was very calm. If she didn't mention it, Night Sorrow wouldn't mention it. "Well, since the supervisor mentioned it, then let's talk about it." Night Sorrow didn't avoid the question since Lan Yuxuan mentioned it. "Seems that you really got it. Tianji Tower is willing to exchange it for anything you want." Lan Yuxuan was extremely shocked. She just wanted to give it a try. She didn't expect Night Sorrow to really have it. "The Heaven's Mandate Stone is priceless, I won't exchange it." Night Sorrow directly refused Lan Yuxuan's statement. Night Sorrow wanted to lend the Water Attribute Stone to Wu Lingfei. In the end, the Water Attribute Stone would belong to Sikong Chuyu. "You're right. The Heaven's Mandate Stone is priceless. If you borrow it for half a year, you'll get a spirit tool," Lan Yuxuan said. "I'll tell you what I want first. If you can accept it, then we can talk. I've promised someone to borrow the Water Attribute Stone first. She can borrow it without any harm. After that, we can carry out the transaction." Night Sorrow said. "No, absolutely not. Do you know the value of the Heaven's Mandate Stone? It's priceless. Even if Tianji Tower doesn't lend it to you, you can't lend it to others. It's a disaster." Lan Yuxuan slammed the table and said. "But I've promised her. I can't go back on my words," Night Sorrow said. At the same time, he knew that Lan Yuxuan was doing it for his own good. He also showed the generosity of Tianji Tower. "Night Sorrow, tell us what's going on first. Our Tianji Tower will only protect the core members. We don't have any malicious intentions." Yin Shui knew that the problem was serious. Only by understanding the whole story and the root of the problem could they solve it. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything and told her about the eastern snow mountain in the far east ice field. "First of all, I've promised her. Also, I'm from the eastern Shen domain. I have to think for the eastern Shen domain. After all, she's one of the top fighters in the eastern Shen domain." "I see. I understand. I won't object," Lan Yuxuan said. "Thank you for your help. After this matter is resolved, you can take the Water Attribute Stone for half a year. As for the reward, although I want it, I'm also a member of Tianji Tower. I should do something for the Tianji Tower," Night Sorrow said. He felt that he owed Tianji Tower, so he didn't want to ask for anything. "You can keep the Water Attribute Stone. Tianji Tower doesn't need it urgently. How about this? Tianji Tower will owe you a request no higher than a spirit-grade stone. When you need the Destiny Stone, Tianji Tower will lend it to you for half a year." Lan Yuxuan made her decision. "I'll keep it. Aren't you afraid that I'll be killed and the Destiny Stone stolen?" Night Sorrow couldn't understand Tianji Tower's way of doing things. I'm not worried. Tianji Tower won't do anything to its own people. However, if someone kills you, we'll avenge you. Once we kill them, we'll get the Destiny Stone back. There's no need to pay any price." Lan Yuxuan's voice carried a hint of laughter. Lan Yuxuan's words stunned Night Sorrow. "This idea? This method? Simple and crude. But don't worry. You're a seedling that Tianji Tower has focused on nurturing. They won't let anyone touch you easily. Lan Yuxuan seemed to have guessed Night Sorrow's thoughts. I'd better hurry up and enter rank 4. Then I'll find a place where there's no one and become a patrol. Night Sorrow said with some hesitation. That's fine. However, you don't have to worry about Tianji Tower's rule of having a patrol every 5 years. You can follow your own path. Your treatment won't change. Your status will exceed that of a patrol, Lan Yuxuan said. Chapter 298. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by shao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's right. If you perform well, Tianji Tower will take special care of you. You don't have to serve as a mandatory patrol every 5 years, but you have the right to do so. Love divided by go divided by shao. Say www.achux.com, Lan Yuxuan said. Then Night Sorrow is here. Thank you for your care. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui. I want to thank you. You have made our Eastern Xian region's Celestial Peak Imperial Tower proud in front of the headquarters, Yin Shui said with a smile. You're too polite, Lord Protector. Night Sorrow bowed again. If you need anything, just tell us. Tianji Tower won't be stingy if we can help you. Love Gong Shao Se, Lan Yuxuan said. Thank you again, lords, but I don't need it. Night Sorrow shook his head. He really didn't need anything. He had resources, but spiritual weapons weren't something that could be given out just because he needed them. Besides, he firmly believed that a man without desires would be strong. After chatting with Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui for a while, Night Sorrow left. The discussion was quite pleasant. After watching Night Sorrow leave, Lan Yuxuan returned to her seat. This kind of person is the most difficult to control and also the most terrifying. A man without desires would be strong. But fortunately, he has a grateful heart and has his own persistence. I especially appreciate what he said. As a person of Eastern Xian region, he should do his best for Eastern Xian region. I believe that in the future he will also say that he is a person of Tianji Tower and will do his best for Tianji Tower, Yin Shui said. Yes, in the face of the pressure from the two of us, he can still persevere. It's very rare. Amazing. Lan Yuxuan said with some emotion. That's it. The supervisor is relieved, Yin Shui said. Chief Protector Silver Snow, I will return to the headquarters directly. Night Sorrow will definitely pass the 3-star assessment. In the future he will be treated as a 3-star. We can't let other forces carry out the dragon slaying plan. The Source Stone is important to Tianji Tower, but he is even more important. Our Tianji Tower is based on people, Lan Yuxuan said. I understand. Yin Shui nodded. Soon after, Lan Yuxuan left. She had come to the Eastern Xian region to examine Night Sorrow's qualifications and also to deal with the matter of the Water Origin Stone. Now she had to return. Night Sorrow returned to the Dragon Spring courtyard. How was it? Sikong Chiyu asked when he saw Night Sorrow return. There were no problems. It went very smoothly. They didn't force me to do anything, Night Sorrow said. He admired Tianji Tower's style. That's good. Sikong Chiyu nodded. After hearing Night Sorrow's answer, she and Yang Lei were relieved. I plan to go to the Far East Icefield to fulfill my promise. Night Sorrow said his decision. Let me accompany you to the Far East Icefield. Yang Lei said. No need. It will take a longer time this time. After all, I'm borrowing it. I have to wait for it to be used back. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. It will take a long time, a long time. You can't go for the time being. Sikong Chiyu pondered for a moment and said. Why? Night Sorrow asked puzzledly. Because in the Tianji Tower's celestial assessment, you have to prove your ability in the shortest time possible and enter the Severed Spirit stage as soon as possible. That way your celestial assessment level will increase. You will be in the Far East Icefield for at least half a year. Even if you break through to the Severed Spirit stage as soon as you enter, your qualifications will be delayed and reduced. Sikong Chiyu said. In addition, your strength has increased. It will be safer in the Far East Icefield. Yang Lei agreed with Sikong Chiyu's proposal. I'll listen to you. I'll go to Danding Cliff to consolidate my cultivation. If there's a suitable opportunity, I'll break through. Night Sorrow said. Okay, but you have to be confident before you break through. Don't be like your 11th senior brother who pursues the peak of the core condensation stage. In fact, when he entered the core condensation stage, a flaw appeared in his core pearl, so it took him a long time to consolidate it. Yang Lei said. I know. Then I'll go to Danding Cliff in the afternoon. Night Sorrow said. After staying with Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei for a while, Night Sorrow rode the Tianyu and left. After arriving at Danding Peak and greeting Elder Su, Night Sorrow began to climb the cliff under Elder Su's surprised gaze. Soon, Night Sorrow climbed to a height of 5,800 meters. After recovering, Night Sorrow rushed to 5,900 meters. After entering the peak of the core condensation stage and the 6th level of the Myriad Tao Tome, Night Sorrow's strength increased greatly. At 5,900 meters, Night Sorrow's energy had just been depleted. Staying at an altitude of 5,900 meters, Night Sorrow began to recover his cultivation. New fastest up $2.3 at this time, other people came to Danding Cliff to cultivate. When they saw Night Sorrow cultivating at 5,900 meters, they were shocked. Night Sorrow had already surpassed the record by 500 meters. This was simply unimaginable. Night Sorrow stayed on the 5,900-meter platform and did not move. After continuously consolidating his cultivation for half a month, Night Sorrow felt that it was really difficult to improve. Looking at the 6,000-meter platform, he got up and continued to climb. This time, Night Sorrow was under a lot of pressure because the last 100 meters of every stage was the most stressful. When there were only 20 meters left, Night Sorrow's true energy and the Myriad Tao Scripture's energy were depleted. He relied on his own body to continue climbing. When there were only 10 meters left, he used the profound jade spiritual energy to rush to the 6,000-meter tall platform. Recovering his cultivation on the 6,000-meter platform, Night Sorrow planned to cultivate here and break through here. Night Sorrow felt that breaking through would be very difficult, but he already had the strength to break through. There was no point in stubbornly holding on. After cultivating for half a day, the sky darkened. Night Sorrow stood up and looked at Danding Cliff. He drank a jar of wine and made a decision. Night Sorrow remembered Yu Yangyu's words. Walk your own path and don't care about what others say. Because everyone's path is different. If you feel that it's suitable, then break through. If others stay at this stage, what does it have to do with you? Core condensation stage. To enter the spirit-severing stage, one had to compress all the qi in the dantian into the dan bead and strengthen the dan bead a second time. If not, then it would be a failure and cause the dan bead to crack. After Night Sorrow stabilized his qi, he began to compress his qi into the dan bead. At this time, it depended on the sturdiness of the foundation and the density of the qi. If the foundation was weak and the cultivation was forcefully increased by eating pills, then the control of the qi in the dantian would be poor. It would be difficult to compress the qi into the dan bead. Similarly, if the density of the qi was not enough and was very weak, then the space in the dan bead would not be able to contain the weak qi. If one could not compress all the qi, then it would still end in failure. Chapter 299. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Following the compression, the true qi in Night Sorrow's dantian became less and less, and the dantian became more and more crystal clear. Night Sorrow did not dare to go too far for fear of damaging the pill. After a true qi cultivator enters the core condensation stage, the core is the foundation. Once there is a problem with the core, it will lead to the destruction of the foundation. At the crucial moment, Night Sorrow was very steady. He carefully compressed the true qi in his dantian into the dan bead. The true qi that entered the dan bead directly solidified and became a part of the dan bead. This was also a slow process. One night passed and Night Sorrow was still trying to break through. This was his miscalculation. He had thought that he would be able to break through in a few hours, but in reality, it was still too slow. As the sun rose, more people arrived at Danding Peak. There were also some who reached the 6,000-meter platform. Those who were able to reach the 6 kilometers platform were all late 4th order cultivators. The ones who came were Crepe Myrtle's Tang Chanxian and 9 Peaks Chu Ling Xiao. They also wanted to cultivate. When they saw Night Sorrow sitting cross-legged on the platform, they looked at each other and knew what was going on. The two of them stood on the 6,000-meter platform to guard Night Sorrow. Time slipped away little by little. In the afternoon, Night Sorrow compressed the last trace of true qi in his dantian into his dan bead. With the disappearance of the last trace of true qi, Night Sorrow's aura changed from core condensation to severed soul stage. Love Gone Little Say exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Night Sorrow opened his eyes. Seeing Tang Chanxian and Chu Ling Xiao, Night Sorrow froze for a moment before understanding what was going on. He quickly stood up and said, "Many thanks Senior Brother Chu and Senior Sister Tang for helping Night Sorrow." "You're welcome. You're too rash." Tang Qianshan reprimanded Night Sorrow. "Night Sorrow is in a good mood right now, so don't be discouraged. Focus on stabilizing your cultivation." Chu Lingxiao nodded to Night Sorrow and continued climbing. Tang Qianshan smiled at Night Sorrow and continued. 6 kilometers was not her limit. Night Sorrow's cultivation had just advanced and was not suitable for high-intensity cultivation. He did not continue to climb up. Instead, he returned to the 5,900-meter position to stabilize his cultivation. After staying at 5,900 meters for 2 days, he felt that his cultivation had stabilized. Night Sorrow released Jianghu, then flashed to Jianghu's back and landed on the ground. "You rascal, this is a heaven-defying rhythm. I have nothing else to say to you. You're always on tenterhooks." Elder Su's eyes were filled with joy and helplessness. He had always emphasized that Night Sorrow should strive for stability, but Night Sorrow's cultivation was soaring. "Thank you for your concern, Elder. I might not be coming back for a while." Night Sorrow bowed to Elder Su and climbed onto Jianghu's back, heading straight for Danding Peak. After his last breakthrough, Night Sorrow did not visit Jianghu. This time he was going to visit him before heading to the Far East Icefield. Night Sorrow did not intend to tell Jianghu about going to the Far East Icefield. He did not want Jianghu to worry. In the Danding Hall, Night Sorrow saw Jianghu, the Great Elder, and a few other elders. The matter of the alternate dimension was now a hot topic. Everyone knew that the Medicine Valley had benefited greatly. The Scarlet Cloud sect had even issued a kill order for Night Sorrow. Therefore, the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley were discussing this issue. Seeing Yi Shang enter and then looking at his cultivation, everyone was shocked. The Grand Elder even stood up. "Disciple greets Master and Elders." Night Sorrow bowed and said, "Forever free or read T-Novel K, Spirit Severing Stage. What's wrong with you?" Qian Wu's eyes were full of surprise. Love Gong Little say, network. Following that, the other elders also began to discuss. Some praised Yi Shang while others reprimanded him. Those who reprimanded him were those who felt that Yi Shang was too reckless. 13. Why did you come to see Master? Jianghu didn't care about the other elders' discussion. He looked at Night Sorrow and asked. His eyes were full of praise because he could see that Night Sorrow's cultivation was very smooth. There was no problem with his foundation being unstable. Disciple has broken through. I came to report to Master. In addition, Disciple wants to go out and have a look. Night Sorrow said. No, you can't go out now. Before Jianghu could speak, Qian Wu stared and said. Tell me your reason. Jianghu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I just want to go out and have a look, increase my field of vision and practice my combat ability. Night Sorrow said. Okay, safety first. Don't cause trouble and don't be afraid of trouble. Jianghu nodded. Jianghu nodded, and the other elders didn't say anything. Master, this is Disciple's filial piety. Master, please take care of yourself. Night Sorrow stepped forward and handed a bottle of spiritual liquid of origin to Jianghu with both hands. Then he cupped his hands at the other elders and left the alchemy cauldron hall. Seeing Night Sorrow leave with Tianyu, Qian Wu was a little anxious. Valley Master, how can you let him go out? The Scarlet Cloud sect has already issued a kill order. It's fine. I won't hide it from you elders. 13 has a certain status in Tianji Tower. A kill order? It won't be long before the Scarlet Cloud sect takes it back. As for a same-level battle, it's a training for him. Jianghu said. Qian Wu and the others didn't say anything because Jianghu's words made sense. Jianghu didn't look at what was in the jade bottle and directly explain the current situation. The Medicine Valley needed stability, but no one could be arrogant in the Medicine Valley. As long as someone came, they would be killed. When Night Sorrow returned to Alchemy City, he went directly to Tianji Tower to show off his cultivation. This was a helpless choice, but the reality required him to do so. Seeing that Night Sorrow had entered the Severed Soul stage, Enforcer Dong was very surprised. He didn't expect Night Sorrow to cultivate so quickly. The first time he saw Night Sorrow was 1.5 years ago. At that time, Night Sorrow was a little guy at stage 1 Shi refinement. But now, Yi Shiwen was already at the Severed Soul stage, the same cultivation level as him. This was unacceptable. After Night Sorrow left, Enforcer Dong hurriedly wrote a letter. He had to inform the headquarters of such an important matter as soon as possible. He knew that this news would attract the attention of the headquarters. When Night Sorrow returned to the Longquan courtyard, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were very happy and personally prepared food for Night Sorrow. This was a big event worth celebrating. In addition, they also knew that Night Sorrow might set off later. After stabilizing his cultivation level in the Longquan courtyard for 2 days, Night Sorrow set off. He had to go to the eastern ice field. In addition, he was also working hard on the cultivation resources for the consolidation realm of the Myriad Dao Tome. A person without foresight was bound to have immediate worries. Although he hadn't yet entered the 7th level of bone forging, he still needed to prepare early. While Night Sorrow and the others were celebrating, an uninvited guest came to the headquarters of the Red Cloud sect, Seaheart Island. The uninvited guest went directly to the lonely mountain behind the island. Not long after the masked man in black arrived, 2 white-haired old men appeared. Who are you? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.